Whoa! Hello, everybody. It's time for me to be here. Are you here? Are you? Are you really? That's the question I'm asking myself. I'm so sleepy. What is this music? I think you commented during the first song. It's called Eternal Garden and it is free in the YouTube stuff. So, yeah, I probably should go through and add some more music sometime. Happy hump day indeed. What's up, Milena? What's up, Mama? Hello to the YouTube chat. Wave, wave, wave. Welcome, welcome. It's Wagon Wednesday, another great day on Sex Worker Twitter. I love how there's like, y'all keep coming up with different excuses to post different lewds on different days of the week on Blue Sky and on Sex Worker Twitter. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I'm a little tired, y'all. I haven't been sleeping too good. I keep having these like really just out of pocket dreams. Just the weirdest dreams. And then like I wake up a lot throughout the night and it's been like that for like 4 days. So I went to bed at like 9:30. I wasn't even tired enough to like go to sleep, but I was like stressing. And sometimes when I'm stressing, I just go to bed. I'm like, shh, shh, and try to basically force myself to fall asleep, which has resulted in a fun thing where sometimes when I'm really stressed out, I do just get overwhelmingly tired because I've kind of trained myself to just be like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm going to go to sleep now. So I went to bed at 9:30 and then, my partner's alarms go off at like 7. But then I stayed in bed until like I think almost 9 again. I'm like, "Oh my god. I'm so tired." And then I actually took a little nap this afternoon. I do not take naps. I hate naps. But I was like critically I'm not going to be able to stay awake for much longer. So I went and laid down. I set a 30-minute timer on my phone. Took a little nappy nap. A little nippy nap new. There's Bunday Sunday, Bunday Monday, Tummy Tuesday, Wagon Wednesday, Thigh Thursday, and Flex Friday. I want to get Ladder Day going for muscular back picks. Now you've got all the days of the week covered. It's gonna be so easy if I ever want to get into sex work. There's so many different options. So if you're here, ready to hang out, we're gonna chill for a bit. Feel free to hit the like button because that'll bring more people in here. Today's video is just bumping. Today's video, I posted the James Somerton conversation. Well, Lux, you would probably like naps more if you had a pile of gold to sleep on. Our society does not accommodate dragons' needs. Truly, I need more donos if I'm ever going to sleep on a pile of gold. I need, like, way more donations. For real, like Coraline trying to sleep, then wake up back into the real world. A little bit. So, we're going to do our best. We do have actual news to talk about today. Magenta name. Yes, welcome Milena to the mod team. She's modding for us here on the chat and in the Discord server, which, by the way, if you're not a member of the Discord server, you might want to join because you can make recommendations in the stream recommendations channel. If you ever like, hey, I really think Luxander should cover this news, then you can post a link up in there, which is always good. Cannot access the site for some reason, but good luck with the stream. Sorry, Taima. I don't know what's the deal. Don't forget Feed the Dragon. Yeah, let's do Feed the Dragon toward the end of show tonight. If you're not aware, in the Discord server, if you want to post pictures of cute animals, or videos, I guess, but just make sure there's no copyrighted music. So cute animal pictures or food pictures in the Feed the Dragon channel. The dragon will judge your submissions and determine whether it is an adequate sacrifice. Lux is the dragon, however, Milena is the goat. Milena is the goat. It's true. I do look at the YouTube chat. Not as religiously as I look at the site chat, because there needs to be a tiny incentive for you to join the website. But yeah, I do look at the YouTube chat. Currently eating air fryer frozen taquitos out of a mixing bowl. I feel like, yeah, that would be yummy. Taquitos in the air fryer, they'd get nice and crunchy. When you do them in the microwave, they do tend to be a little bit soft, which can be nice, but depends on what kind of mood you're going for. Quanch, quanch, quanch. Look at my wings, y'all. I don't know if they're very visible today. Wings. Hey, Timerinia managed to figure out how to get the website working. Nice. Yeah, so today we do have a couple of news items. Let's see, what did you all put in the StreamRex channel? Today, J.K. Rowling refers to trans women as, quote, cross-dressing straight men. I mean, so she's finally just come straight out and say it. Like, someone tried to say she compared a trans woman to a cross-dressing straight man, and J.K. Rowling was like, let me clarify, I did not compare trans women to cross-dressing straight men. They are cross-dressing straight men. So, as usual, you know, we know what to expect from her at this point. Peru has classified trans people as mentally ill. I'm not sure whether we're gonna cover that, but it's definitely like a step back in Peru, for sure. And then, oh, this one we might go ahead and cover because there's some case in Wyoming regarding whether a transgender woman should be able to be in a sorority. So we're not talking about participation in sports. We're not talking about taking opportunities away from cis women. We're talking about, in this instance, just like, can you be housed with cisgender women? Like, I guess is the question. No, I don't want any of your cookies. Stop giving me cookies. Stop it. Cease and desist. Yeah, super weird. Although I don't know if there's any more details about this. I've been given a link to oh, this website is so interesting because it gives you different links out to different articles, whether they have a left, right, or center bias. That's so interesting. So this basically just links you out to all the possible articles that you could look at. Interesting. Okay. That might be worth talking about, potentially. The Rolling Stone actually did a piece on Rowling's bullying. Oh, is that what we posted in the StreamRex? Is this... Oh, this is a Substack post. So those are 3 articles that were posted in the Discord server. She didn't even say cross-dressing gay men, which is the argument some anti-trans people make. Yeah. I mean, I think that it might just be that because of who J.K. Rowling follows and the kind of stuff that she gets into, maybe what she sees more often is lesbian trans women, which she would refer to them as straight men. What's up, Charlotte? I brought some cookies if anyone wants some. I could really use the sugar rush. I have some coffee here. It's decaf, but we're 1 week into sobriety, and for me, that also includes, like, I've cut down coffee down to, like, I'm doing decaf. I don't even drink coffee every day. So, yeah, man. I wonder if, like, for some reason, if, like, previously drinking alcohol helped me sleep. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just fucking am not sleeping very well. I just wake up constantly and I have such weird dreams. I wonder what they would think of a trans masc / trans femme couple. They always just say that that's heterosexual with extra steps. You know? Yay, sobriety. Yes. We're trying to make better choices in our lives, you know? Trying to make good choices. So I've replaced a lot of alcohol with too much caffeine. Gotta do something to get through the day. Absolutely. Yeah, so after my little nap earlier, I was like, listen, let's pump up these numbers. Let's get some energy. So I was like, let's get some decaf in my system and see if that makes a difference. So we'll see if that helps at all. And then from my research for today, aside from what's in the stream recommendations channel, I want to talk about, so I live in Kansas, if you didn't know that. Hi, it sucks here. I live in Kansas, I'm from here, I was born here, and the Kansas Attorney General is suing the Biden administration because the Biden administration recently updated its guidance for Title IX to include, like, gender identity. Basically, you know, we've been relying on these court interpretations. Thank you very much, Mama. There's these court interpretations which are saying, yo, gender identity and sexual orientation are both covered under sex discrimination. And now, yeah, so fucking thanks, Chris Kobach, for absolutely fucking nothing. It's not like you have real problems. It's not like our schools are massively underfunded or anything. You don't have anything more important to do with your time. So they're suing the Biden administration because of that expansion of Title IX. Republicans should get real jobs. Gonna start a second job at Mickey D, so I will be going wild with iced coffee, I'm sure. Listen, if it's free, get whatever free products you can. Don't know about you, but yes, alcohol does make me sleepy, so it might have been a factor in getting sleep. Yeah, right. Like, I know... Hey, Jackie Sins, welcome to the website. Thank you so much for hopping on over here. We love the website chat. We love the custom emojis. We love it when donations come through the website because the super chats, YouTube takes 30% of your money. So it's, you know, there's a lot of reasons why we prefer the website chat. If you didn't know, hi, come to luxander.net/live to get your custom emojis and fun colored name. I see a lot of people I like are sponsored by Ground News and I don't trust it. Right, left, and center are relative concepts, and without objective grounding, it becomes a tool for representing the Overton window wherever you want it. Yeah, I would generally not trust someone else's determination of what counts as left or right. Okay, the Rolling Stone. When did this article come out? Ooh, only 2 days ago. Okay. There are so many overlays on the screen right now. Okay. Oh my gosh, okay. So we've got a Rolling Stone article. Kansas Attorney General sues. And then I also want to talk about COVID a bit because we haven't talked about it in a while. And so I'm basically uninsured. I don't have insurance. My partner's work doesn't provide insurance. And so I've been relying the last couple years on the Bridge Access Program to get COVID vaccines. And it seems as though they've just decided they're ending the program this year. And they were going to extend it out to December, but they're actually cutting it off in August. And the reason why that's really fucked up is because new COVID vaccines come out in September. Every year, for the past few years, they put out an updated vaccine in September. So in August, they're ending the Bridge Access Program, which means for an uninsured person like me, it's $100 to get vaccinated for a BSL-3 pathogen that gives you AIDS. Like, I'm real mad. And there's also... God, where is it? Someone might have to help me find a link for this because I cannot remember if I don't think I retweeted anything about it or saved a link about it, but there's at least one state that is trying to make masks illegal. And now, of course, the purpose of that is because they're trying to reduce your possibility for anonymity during protests. That's the main reason for it. But it's like, are you serious? First Amendment. I'm so sorry, but First Amendment says I'll wear whatever the fuck I want. I'm fucking so mad. I don't cuss this much usually in my show anymore because cussing a lot does actually negatively impact the viewership of the show. But oh man, there's no way to get one in the UK if you're not part of a quote vulnerable group. Yeah, yeah. Are you immunocompromised? Not specifically that I'm aware of, but like if you've ever had COVID before, you are immune compromised. So I'm pretty sure that I was exposed to it before we were made aware as the public. Shut up, San. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up right now. Shut up right now, or I'm kicking you from the chat. What do you mean you don't? Shut up. 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 I'm not dealing with, oh, you don't need a vaccine. These variants are mutating so rapidly. You can catch COVID twice in 1 month. What the fuck do you mean you don't need a vaccine? Shut up. Anyway, so I've had COVID like I think 3 times, and that means that like you are like every time you get it, you're immune compromised. It damages your immune system. It will give you AIDS. Like I'm not exaggerating when I say that it will literally give you acquired immune deficiency syndrome. I saw the no face covering thing. It's really bad. Yeah, so let me see if I can find something about that. Like anti-mask law, maybe. People in Ohio targeted by the state for wearing respirators because Ohio has an anti-mask law from the 1950s still on the books. That's interesting. What I saw was more like they're trying to pass a new law in some state. I was forced by Atlanta police to remove my medical mask in 2019 under their existing state anti-mask law. So I guess, yeah, there's like an existing anti-mask law in Ohio that they're trying to enforce. This is why old laws are such a problem in the United States, because you'll be like, oh, whatever, there's a law against gay sex, like against sodomy in like in Kansas, for example. I'm pretty sure we still have an anti-sodomy law, and people are always like, oh, well, whatever, it's just an old law, they won't enforce it anymore. Like, but they will when it's convenient. They absolutely will. But yeah, it does suck that you can't get one. Like, I'm thinking about, like, maybe I should just go ahead and get another COVID booster, like, this month. And just be like, okay, well, I'm getting... Oh, it was North Carolina, okay. So maybe I should just get a booster now, and then I'll have to pay $100. $100 or more, I think. It might have been more than $100. When I went to get a vaccine last year, and the first pharmacy I went to did not participate in the Bridge Access program. I'm mad that it's illegal for me to push a moose out of a helicopter in Rhode Island. Ah, that is a very specific law. I do love those. Those are kind of amusing, the old laws that are still on the books. Thank you, Jackie Sins, for our first donation of the day. $5 dono. Thank you so much. Much obliged. The gifts are appreciated. And remember, face covering would only be illegal if you can't outrun the cops. Make sure to do your cardio, everybody. I get every vaccine as soon as I can, feeling healthy about it. Yeah, Pfizer vaccine is highly effective, and then the efficacy drops off after about 6 months. So really, everybody should get vaccinated twice a year. Sorry, the puss emoji is a subscriber-only emoji. If you, instead of donating $5, if you get a 1-month subscription, that'll give you the access to the certain emojis are behind the paywall. Can we get some dicks in chat, please? Maybe that would help my mood a little bit. Maybe that would improve my mood. I don't normally just, like, tell someone to shut up 10 times. You can tell I'm tired. Just, like, shut up. I don't want to deal with this right now. I was last boosted in 2021. Oh, God. Yeah, that's so rough. And, like, it's not like... you know, I think that in the United States, I could probably just lie. I could probably go to a pharmacy and say, my doctor suggested that I should get a second booster. And they would just give it to me because what the fuck are they going to do? Call my doctor? So, trans dicks. Oh my God, Milena, thank you. We love the dicks. So yeah, let me see if I can find something about North Carolina. Phoebe wants to know if anybody's heard of Stella O'Malley, who might be a TERF. Hank Green did an episode of SciShow talking about how boosters might be causing higher rates of cancer, and there are some studies that seem to support the concept. It might be best to not get boosters if you have no underlying conditions. Okay, so I love Hank Green. He is a deep liberal. I have problems with Hank Green being like a super lib, because what's more likely, that the vaccine is causing increased instances of cancer, or is it more likely that COVID has been proven to be oncogenic and everybody's catching it 5 times a year? Like, I'm sorry, I love Hank. Usually I trust him. I think he's kind of a fucking idiot about certain things. Sorry, Kitty, you were muted, and now you're unmuted. Oh, congrats on your baby! Congrats, they were born on the 13th. Their mom was a complete rock star after about 11 hours of slow labor. She kicked into gear and had the baby in about 1 hour after that. Hell yeah. I'm so glad that you guys are doing well. Like, I don't even, like, so, like, sometimes Hank Green is, like, a smart person when they post, like, videos on the SciShow channel. Because there was, like, they made a video about vaping and the potential harms of vaping. And I've quit that too, to be clear. But it's like, oh yeah, it's pretty much impossible to isolate the specific effects. Thank you, Himjack, for the tier 1 sub. To Jackie, Jackie, please enjoy your puss and dicks now. Sneaky white name noises. So, like, it's impossible to study vaping because most people who vape also smoke cigarettes. So if you're looking at people who vape, like, because most of them also smoke cigarettes, there's no way to differentiate the harmful effects of vaping from the harmful effects of smoking cigarettes, right? So same thing here. How the fuck are you going to differentiate the effects of the COVID vaccine versus the effects of catching COVID 6 times a year? And which is more likely? What is more likely? Like COVID, which we have seen is oncogenic, or that the vaccine is causing increased rates of cancer? Like, I know what I would rather do. Would I rather get vaccinated twice a year, and that has a small chance of maybe causing cancer? Or would I rather catch COVID 6 times a year, which has been basically proven to cause cancer? I don't know. It's like I said, it's like basically impossible to differentiate unless you, like, I don't even know how you would tell. Like, I guess you would have to look at countries like the UK, where nobody has gotten a booster vaccine since 2021, and look at, okay, are they having the same increased risks of cancer as everywhere else? My ex would only vape without nicotine, I believe, because it made him feel like a dragon. Yeah, there's other stuff in it, though. There's other stuff besides nicotine. So, like, the nicotine on its own is not the only health concern with vaping. So it's just better not to do it. We don't understand what are gonna be the potential long-term effects of it. That's what I tried telling him. Yeah, it's like probably less unhealthy, probably less unsafe than smoking. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that getting a vaccine is probably less unsafe. Although if you're worried about the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine, then you could seek out a pharmacy that has Novavax and get the Novavax is more like a regular vaccine. Like the Pfizer and the Moderna ones cause your body to produce the spike protein, I think is how it works, which can cause some weirdness. But the Novavax is just like the dead particles of virus, the same way that you would get literally basically every other vaccine that we get. So it might be the case that I decide that it would be better to go find some place that has Novavax instead of getting Pfizer again. But yeah, I don't know how you could possibly say that the vaccine causes cancer where, again, like most people are only getting it once a year. We also live in a more polluted world with mass quantities of processed foods and more red meat in our basic diets, all of which is known to be carcinogenic. Sure, yeah. Pollution is known to be carcinogenic. Red meat, yeah, causes colon cancer and everything. Rates go up over time. We are all filled with microplastics, and we don't know what effects that's going to have on the instance of cancer or any number of other health effects. So, yeah, it's all just about mitigating your risk. Like, would I rather get cancer from the vaccine, or would I rather have would I rather roll the dice on possibly getting cancer from the vaccine, or would I rather roll the dice on possibly getting cancer or ME/CFS or other conditions that prevent me from being able to get out of bed anymore from like actually catching COVID? Yeah, cancer or AIDS. The decisions. Like, ugh. This is the definition of privilege, is like having good choices to choose from versus having bad choices to choose from. We're presented with a shithole of increasingly bad choices. Cancer is like a boogeyman. People say everything causes cancer and want to blame it on one thing when it's a multitude of factors, and the likelihood of developing it is still extremely slim. Right. The majority of people... Is it possible to donate without having to leave the chat? I think you would have to open it in a separate tab. I'm not totally certain, because I don't really mess with my own website that much. I have the chat popped out separately from the website. But yeah, so like the majority of people who smoke cigarettes don't ever get cancer. It increases your likelihood to get cancer, but it's not like a guarantee that you'll get cancer. You know? I'm gonna tune out of chat so I can do my third job, which is playing merge games to get pennies to exchange for cash cards. There you go. I've had the Pfizer COVID vaccine before, and the effects aren't too bad if you've had it before. The first couple times I had the Pfizer vaccine, it knocked me on my ass, and I felt really sick and weird. And then after that, it just doesn't do like anything to me. Yeah, have fun playing games, Charlotte. Enjoy. Hit the like button before you go. We're gonna chill for a little while before I do like my... And now I'm recording a segment stuff. So feel free to hit the like button to encourage more people to show up in the chat. Some of these posts are really old. I think for cigarettes, there's a bigger risk of COPD and emphysema. Sure, yeah, for sure. There's, yeah, a number. Are you wearing wings? It's the chair. I put them on the chair. I think I need to change the background color. Let's change the background color. Orange. Yeah, that's better. I like that better. I took the flu and COVID vax at the same time. Wouldn't recommend. I did recently get the flu vaccine and the COVID vaccine on the same day. And it was, not too bad. The first time I had Moderna vaccine, I got one of the 0.1% negative reactions, which was just an awful rash that lasted for a few months and caused insane itching and dry skin. There's all kinds of things. like all kinds of reactions that people can have. Because, like, yeah, it's you're injecting something foreign into your body. Some people have allergic reactions. I don't know if it's a human need for control or whatever the issue is, but we can't control whether we get cancer or not. Constantly worrying about what actions may or may not cause it isn't super effective. You know, yeah, I think it's like a hang up about control, just like about any other health issue. When when people when people go like, "Oh my god, have you tried yoga?" Like if you have a serious disability and people are like, "Have you tried yoga? Maybe go on a juice cleanse." You know, the people are saying that as like a way of them coping with their anxiety, that like you as a disabled person, like that disability happened to you despite your best efforts. Like they need to believe that if they just do the right things, then they won't end up with your disability, right? And I think that's probably true with cancer as well. You know, I do have things that I am worried about with cancer. I wear UPF protectant clothing and I make sure I wear sunscreen most of the time that I go out. And like, I prefer eating chicken more often as opposed to red meat. And, you know, most of the time I avoid eating Ritz crackers because they were banned in Europe for having known cardiovascular risk ingredients in there. Whenever I talk with family about anything I struggle with, they immediately tell me what they think I should have done to prevent it, even if it isn't anything I can control. Yeah. There was a flimsy study saying that toast causes cancer. So it turns out actually there's no conclusive study that proved that. Red meat causes cancer? Is it the sad, sad bovine tears? I think, I don't know if it's red meat in and of itself or it's like if you get like the kind of char on the outside, the carbon, that I believe can cause like colon cancer. Foxgloved. Are we talking about vaping and drugs? Just came in. Yeah, we're talking about health stuff in general. Like you can't really study the harmful health effects of vaping because most people who vape also smoke cigarettes. So like, you know, the risks that we know are associated with smoking start to get transposed over onto the risk of vaping, even though vaping itself might not actually cause those things. Like it's just really difficult to study. Lots of people don't realize the sun is one of the worst highly proven causes of cancer that everyone who goes outside is exposed to. Don't go outside, babes. Mama says, every time I hear about somebody else's problems, I think, thank goodness I'm here now. I can tell them the solution. That's why I stay inside. True. I stay inside, and you know what? That it means that I probably have mold exposures that other people wouldn't have because I live in a shitty rental that has fucking water damage and mold. But I'm not exposed to pollution, and I'm not exposed to COVID, and I'm not exposed to the sun. On a better note, cows are so cute. Cows are cute. They're such adorable weirdos. They have very strange tongues. Have you ever been licked by a cow? It's a strange experience. Your skin's gonna be beautiful forever. Listen, people think that I'm in my early 20s. I'm 30. People think that I'm in my early 20s. And frankly, part of it is probably because I don't go out in the sun. When I used to work, I worked overnights for 3 years. So it's not like I was going out during the day during that period of time. It's a little strange because I wonder if sometimes that contributes to people like not taking my opinion very seriously, that they can look at me and think that I'm in my early 20s, and especially if I'm presenting in a femme zone, then people are like, oh my gosh, this young woman, don't listen to anything she has to say. Like, I don't know. Just guessing. Oh my gosh. I put up the video about James Somerton today, and it has 5,000 views, which is way higher than most of my videos get in their first day. You do look 22. I'm gonna be young forever! You can kind of measure effects of things like vaping by looking at cancer rates of people who do both versus just smoking cigarettes. I guess the logic behind that is like people who are vaping and smoking cigarettes are probably smoking cigarettes less. But yeah, similar to how a lot of COVID consequences are found in spite of people also having other things going on, but you'll always have the interaction effect question dangling. Yeah, I am undead. Confirmed, I'm a vampire. Conflicted about the sun because as a person who's chronically vitamin D deficient, you kind of need it. Truly, yeah. But it's also pretty easy to supplement vitamin D dietarily, or like put on sunscreen and then go outside for 15 minutes and you'll in that time you will create vitamin D. I have an outdoor hobby. I go shooting my bow at the archery range, and like, you know, sunscreen, whatever, you still get the benefit of being outside. You can like smell the grass, and that's always nice. Exercising is based and sexy. True. Last week, I wanted to start bulking again last week, but I was like, I'm just gonna let my tattoo heal and not risk like bumping into it or something at the gym. And then this week, there was some construction bullshit going on Monday that prevented me from going to the gym. And then yesterday, I had some interpersonal issues that I had to deal with like basically all morning. And yeah, I'm really kind of bummed. I'm hoping tomorrow morning to make it to the gym. Tomorrow. Jackie Sins, thank you so much for another donation. That's a $10 dono. Appreciate you. Putting us at $20 today. If we get to $100, then I will flex my muscles. Which, yeah, again, I'm not able to go to the gym all the time that I want to, so my arms are kind of going, but they're still pretty nicely defined. Regarding archery, to what extent does this contribute to having uneven arm strength? I mean, it would, except that I go to the gym. Like, yes, probably what's going to end up happening is like no matter what I do, my left shoulder is going to be stronger than my right shoulder, and my right lats are going to be a little bit stronger than my left lats. But I also do lat pulls at the gym, so I'm working my left and my right. And my bow is not insanely heavy, so probably if my bow were heavier, it would have a bigger difference. But the thing that you do is you just deliberately work out your left. You know how you struggle with showing off your back, right? I struggle with showing off my back because I am in a spinny chair, and it's like, how am I going to show you this? Like, ugh, and I can't see myself when I'm turned around. Mommy muscles or daddy muscles? Listen, mommy muscles are in, but so are daddy muscles. I did a session at the gym today. Can I say fuck burpees? Burpees are good for you because jumping keeps your skeleton strong. New donation goal for back camera. Yeah, I've seen that guy, Foxgloved. He's an archer and a pole dancer, and he does both at once. I like him a lot. I like him so much that I hate him a little bit. The secret to every back picture I ever take is that I have to reposition myself like 6 times to make sure I'm properly in frame. I know. I'm gonna have to convince someone to come out shooting with me so that I can get pictures of my back muscles as I'm pulling my bow back. I saw something about Debbie Hayden. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna get into it today. Muscle. Maybe, listen, if we get to the stream donation goal today, I will get my bow, I will string my bow, and I will see if I can give you a shot of like, what does it look like if you can see me from the, I guess I'll turn this way. I'll turn this way and see if I can give you a nice shot of what it looks like when I pull my bow. Let's see. Patreon exclusive, true. Yeah, I don't remember the name of that channel, the guy who pole dances and shoots a bow, but it's crazy how strong he is. I'm like, how do you get your core that strong? I want my core to be that strong. Do you just have to do like core exercises all the time? So stupid. What do you mean I have to work for it? And like pulling a bow with your toes and everything, like the hell is wrong with you? Why are you so talented? How dare you be so talented? I would pay to see you in a movie where you're the NB hero archer of sorts. Yeah, I mean, get me in some acting classes, because I don't know if I'll be good at it, like acting. I know that I have a hard time relaxing naturally into the acting, but I haven't done acting since I was 15. 15 was the last time I acted, because I was in theater in high school. Have you heard of Lars Anderson? I don't think so. Have you seen movies lately? Acting isn't really necessary. True. Doesn't Ren Fair count? What's up, Violet? Saw that you rejoined the Discord server. Happy to have you back. I don't really act at the Ren Fair. I'm like, if you ever see me out at the Renaissance Festival, feel free to say hi. That's fine. But I don't really play a character. I work as a person who sells stuff. So there's not really a lot of falseness. I don't do an accent or anything. Why is your body a Corvette and mine a Gremlin? My body is not a Corvette. I would... Listen. The guy is Blumenek? Okay. I see him on Facebook mostly. I think I'm working out or weightlifting wrong. I keep seeing people's muscle timelines and folks are like 6 months, and on the left is a scrawny twink, and on the right is a beefcake, and I'm over here month 10, looking nearly as pudgy as when I started. Well, your body... So first of all, yeah, maybe those people are using steroids. They might not be doing it fairly, but also building muscle is not the same as losing fat. And like your body can do both at the same time, but it's kind of more difficult. This is why people alternate between bulking and cutting. If you're at all familiar with this concept, like if you're trying to put on muscle, you need to eat more calories so that you can build muscle. Usually when you're bulking, you also put on a little bit of fat naturally, which is why people then go on a cut where they stop trying to put on weight. They might still lift weights, but it's like lower weights, higher repetitions, or they switch to doing cardio primarily. And that's, you try to like have slightly fewer calories than what you're burning so that you can trim the fat away and make all the muscle that you developed pop out more. And like you also want to, while you're doing a cut, you still want to eat a ton of protein to try to prevent your body from breaking down the muscle, because you will. If you're trying to lose weight, your body will break down muscle and not just fat. So that's like why. But yeah, I mean, if you're trying to build muscle, you have to push and like lift weights enough that it's difficult every time. Like you have to be struggling by the end of your third set. We talk about health and weightlifting and stuff on this channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Luxander. Hit the like button, subscribe, and all that. Of all the different things we talk about, You know, I want to encourage people to take care of your body. Dieting is really hard when you're poor. I'm trying to keep pushing my weights upward so I know I'm getting stronger at least. Yeah. And there's a couple of things, uh, like building for strength is different than building for hypertrophy. Like if you want your muscles to get bigger, then I haven't looked it up in a little while, so like you don't lift as much, I think, when you're doing for hypertrophy, and you also want to give yourself a really short period of rest in between the sets. Like when I'm building, because I'm trying to get hypertrophy, I do like 1 or 2 warm-up sets at a fairly low weight, and then when I start my actual sets, I only give myself like 30 to 90 seconds in between sets. And then you do give yourself like 3 to 5 minutes in between each exercise. But yeah, like the amount of time that you rest between sets can also make an impact on how much muscle you're building. Sadly, the glutes are one of the first places your body takes muscle from. No! It's unfortunate that you guys can never see, because like my stream setup is just not set up for it, but everybody says I have a really nice ass. Maybe I should put more pictures on Fansly. I'm trying to build up my, like, self-confidence to start posting on Fansly again. You probably don't need to be worried if your knees are cracking every time you do squats. I think that's pretty normal for a lot of people. Lux is a dragon at the Ren Fair. My character this year is going to be a druid. I'm excited to get my druid character together this year. I gotta finish working on some stuff for that costume, though. www.luxusass.com. True. My knees crack when going downstairs. Decoy Duck says it's the pain you want to pay attention to, not the crackling. This is coming from a 37-year-old duck with arthritic knees. Mm-hmm. When I post booty or back, I'm like, yeah, buff muscle mommy. And then when I post anything with tummy, I'm like, sucking the gut fatty. Right. I did successfully lose some fat. We're doing some body recomposition. The belly is slimming down a little bit. It's hard to give yourself the grace. And like, if you're still pretty early on in, like, I understand for trans women, there's like this difficulty with, you know, if your body is still recomposing, like, the fat redistribution, if you're, like, the quote-unquote male fat distribution is, like, it's primarily on your belly. And so it takes years, and sometimes even being on, like, the correct dose of estrogen for a long time doesn't get your fat to completely redistribute, which is why people have BBLs. So many opportunities for wordplay with deluxe. Yeah. I used to be really annoyed by those things, so I don't engage in it myself. But I would put like Lux on my work tag, and people would be like, ooh, is that short for luxurious? BBL is short for Brazilian butt lift. I know that some people take issue with the fact that it's called a Brazilian butt lift, but fucking whatever, that's what it's called. But it's a very intensive surgical procedure with a very intensive recovery period where they basically like suck out the fat from your belly area and then they reinsert the fat in your like ass thighs area. So if you are curious of like an example, Merrick DeVille, the leftist sex worker on Twitter, she had a Brazilian butt lift like 2 years ago, and she's like very thin in her waist area and has a big fat ass, and it's because you have a BBL. But then you can't sit on your ass for like 6 to 8 weeks, and you have to massage the area. I saw another woman get a BBL, and she was like, recovery for this was so hard because, one of the things you're supposed to do is kind of like rub down your sides like this and like make sure everything is being pushed downward. And she was like, it feels like I am in danger. Like my body in the recovery for this, 1 out of 3,000 patients end up with serious medical issues after a BBL, sometimes even dying. Or sure, yeah. I mean, BBL is another one of those procedures that sometimes people will like travel to another country to get it done, like in a sketchy way. Like, yeah, don't don't travel to sketchy countries for plastic procedures. Yeah. Fortunately, I have a pretty thin waist and decent booty. I get compliments about the booty periodically from like my partner and also like my sister-in-law who is like my sister-in-law is like kind of bisexual, or like maybe, what do you call it, like a spaghetti bisexual. But she used to be like, dang, the booty. And I'm like, thanks. Like, I'm married to your brother, thanks. Appreciate it. Spaghetti, yeah, like straight until wet. That's the joke about spaghetti. Like, you're straight until you get wet. I don't know that it's a very nice thing to say about someone. We stay on a bodacious booty. True. 69 viewers. Can we get to 69 likes? So like Ranma 1/2, but with sexuality. Yeah, I guess. Slippery when wet. True. I'm trans and bi. Shout out. High five. We appreciate the trans bisexuals. I guess under technical definitions, I count as bisexual, but I don't identify as bi. Like, I do not identify as bi. Oh, hey, look, I'm gonna block someone who is accusing Vosh of being into lowly stuff. Get the fuck out of my community. That was not you guys, by the way. That was not chat. That was, YouTube comments. Noah, thank you so much. Tier 1 sub. Enjoy your dicks. Thank you very much. Look at that. That puts us at 1/4 of the way to the donation goal today. That's very exciting. Remember, I will make an attempt to pull my bow and show you my back muscles later. What am I wearing? I'm wearing a white tank top. I might have to change my shirt. I wasn't really thinking about it before the show started because I was a sleepy boy. I hate people who are fat phobic but then turn around and goon over fat asses. Yeah. What happened with that whole Vosh drama? I heard he accidentally showed some lowly stuff on stream. What happened? He accidentally showed his recent downloads, which was like porn. And one of the pictures, as I understand it, I don't even think it was depicting lowly. It was just by an artist that also does lowly. But people, people have been pedo jacketing Vosh for like 6 years. So, like, I don't put a lot of stock in those claims. It's not like there was CP on his computer. It was like this art style by a person who also does lowly art. So yeah, I've like just dramatically lost respect for a lot of people. Get it right, it's horses. I know, there were a lot of horses in there. It was a very blurry thumbnail of a couple of participants with body proportions that made some people freak out. Yeah, like, y'all are seeing stuff that you want to see, effectively. There was definitely some horse stuff. Of course, yeah, of course. Like, I follow his alt account on Twitter, and the fucking profile picture is of a horse. You know, it's Vosh. Of course, there's horse stuff. I know it was still a mistake. He should not have pulled up his. Yeah, it was a mistake for him to pull up the folder. So he wants to be the horse. Yeah, he's like, I want the horse dick. Imagine having millions of dollars of streamer money and not investing in a fap top. I don't think that Vosh is a literal millionaire, but it would make sense to maybe if you make a lot of money streaming, to have a separate account or like a separate computer if you're going to be downloading porn, like, or just be less dumb about saving stuff to your computer and having, you could even have a separate profile on the same computer. It was just a dumb mistake. It was just dumb. I've got a poorly organized porn folder, but if I were to become a streamer, I'd start doing some spring cleaning. Spring cleaning, indeed. I think I'm a weirdo. I basically only watch porn on my phone. Like, it's just not on my computer, really. I think that there's a folder on my computer that has pictures that I saved, like, 10 years ago. So, like, there is a porn folder on my streaming computer, but I'm not actively saving things to it. Porn on main. You didn't say the magic word. Yeah. Listen, if I ever get to having more than 100,000 subscribers, I will get a fap top, okay? That's what I'll do. I've recently started reviving my porn folder as Texas attacks porn websites. That's an interesting point, because they did just recently pass the law in Kansas that's going to make it to where you have to provide an ID in order to access any websites with adult content. I haven't really planned ahead for what I'm going to do when that law goes into effect. I guess I'm just thinking like I'm leaving the state anyway, like I'm moving. VPN, but not on my phone. Can you get a VPN on your phone? Man, I'm gonna have to pay for a VPN. Oh. Adding FapTop to words I've never heard. No, FapTop is new for me today too. That's new for me today too. That's a fun one. Only use a VPN if it's paid. Yeah. Is Kansas really bad for non-binary people? Well, like, there are places in Kansas that have been like, that have declared like, yo, we're not going to enforce your stupid bathroom bill, like the bathroom law, but it is still like in effect. So as a non-binary person who's like very gender ambiguous, I personally don't feel like it's very safe to use public restrooms now that it is a crime for me to use the one that is not associated with my sex assigned at birth. So it's like, legally I'm supposed to use the woman's bathroom, but that's the bathroom where there's all the scrutiny. That's the bathroom where people are more likely to be like, excuse me, sir, I see you just went into that bathroom. Like, I've witnessed that happen even before the law passed. And then, like, it's a crime for me to use the men's bathroom, so I just don't use public restrooms. Or if I do, I only use public restrooms where I know there's a private gender-neutral bathroom with, like, a door that you can shut and lock. So, yeah, I mean, like, it's, you know, it's troublesome for the same reason that it's troublesome anywhere else, where there's, like, a heavy conservative contingent that is passing laws against your right to use public facilities. Lux, get a VPN sponsor and make service part of the deal. I mean, that would be the thing to do. Pardon me, I'm gonna need to see your chromosomes before you enter that disgusting Target restroom. Yeah. It's part of my whole I don't leave the house very much thing. Honestly, it's like part of the whole calculation. Like we were speaking earlier, like, yeah, I have less pollution exposure and I have less COVID exposure and I have less sun exposure. Those are all health benefits. But also, the less I leave the house and the shorter my trips outside the house are, the less likely it is that I'm going to need to use a public restroom. Pride said that they're going to be removing the Pride collection from all states this year. I had heard that it was just a few states, but now they're even bigger cowards, apparently. I put a link in the stream Rex. Ooh. This might be something that we cover closer to June. Like, as we get closer to Pride Month. So maybe we'll cover this, like, next week or the following week. As a lead up into Pride. Like, oh, hey, look at this. Remember all the bomb threats and stuff from last year? Well, terrorism won. Target is going to remove their Pride collection entirely. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you so much for the 15 dono. I'm glad you're getting out of Kansas. You shouldn't have to leave, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole emotional, like, difficulty with being like, yeah, I was born here and, like, I'm, like, losing my right to exist in public and, like, I already changed my identification and they're gonna retroactively revoke that and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And the attacks are not stopping. You know, like they're continuing to shotgun laws just like they're doing everywhere else. And like, you know, one of our main stories tonight is going to be about the Kansas Attorney General suing the Biden administration over their expansion of Title IX protections. So yeah, again, thanks, Chris Kobach. You know, you've got real problems, I'm sure, in your life. But yes, thank you. And then there's the whole, like, it's going to gradually get hotter and hotter here thing too, which is like, I guess more of a long-term concern. I could feel confident that maybe the legal situation could be resolved, but as far as the climate change of it all, that's a more certain long-term negative outcome. Somebody posted well, it's just to protect their employees TikTok. What? What do you mean they did what to protect their... Oh, the Pride thing, sorry. So they removed their Pride collection just to protect their employees. I did a response TikTok and then they took down their video. I feel a little bit bad because I was kind of mean and they were a very naive LGBT person, but this narrative has to be pushed back on. Yeah, it's... If they were trying to protect their employees, they would just fund more cameras and putting a security guard in the store. Like, it would be so simple for them. They would be creating jobs if they were to increase security in their stores. But that's not really what it's about. Do you think Biden will lose in November? I don't actually know. I feel pretty uncertain based on what I see in Michigan Biden is losing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess you would have to look at those swing states. There are like 7 swing states. No. So, like Colorado, Florida, Iowa, Michigan, Nevada, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Ohio. Yeah, I think you would have to just like look at, you know, how things are going in those particular states that have a tendency to go either way. He needs Michigan. Yeah, I mean, so many people are upset about the handling of everything going on in Gaza and, the whole West Bank, really. And also the fact that there's this militarized crackdown on college campuses of protests. Like, I think that a lot of people are losing faith in the democracy because it's not really being protected. Protest is supposed to be a protected right. And it kind of feels like we don't have the right to safely, well, we don't. We objectively do not have the right to safely protest because cops will use literally any excuse to start being violent toward you. You don't even have to do anything violent. They will just start beating the hell out of you in order to enforce stupid rules like, oh, you're not allowed to have tents erected on campus after 10 p.m. Rules that have never been enforced before. And they're going to call up the police and also get the police from several surrounding cities to come, mess things up. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard to predict. I think as we get closer, it might be easier to say, but I'm expecting to be on the edge of my seat on election night. I don't see a situation where this isn't a very close election. Joe Biden is not the only politician who's aggressively pro-Israel. Well, I think, it's particularly egregious if you are seeing dozens of pictures of dead children, and then you also see in the news that in order to support Israel in their war, we are going to send them more fucking money. I don't know how you can see that and not be like, wow, I hope something terrible happens to you. Yeah, I think it's going to be fairly close. Yesterday, Biden approved another $1 billion in weapons to Israel and had one of the White House press secretaries come out and say the same stupid BS excuses we've been hearing since October. Biden seems fully committed to losing. Trump said he'd send fighter jets over there to bomb Gaza himself. Yeah, I'm not saying that Trump's going to be better on that issue. I'm just saying that, you should, I just think that the Democrats should have ran someone else. You're banking on the fact that incumbent presidents tend to win. And I don't know that that's a good move. Even if it's a blowout, we would still need to be careful because Trump's not going to go down without calling his people to arms. That's the thing, too. Even if Biden wins the vote by an overwhelming, amount, either Trump is going to win and he's going to start putting queer people in camps and bombing Gaza himself, or Biden is going to win and then there's going to be a violent uprising where they try to usurp the government again. It already happened once. It's going to happen a second time. It's going to be fucking crazy. Election talk just makes me sad. Yeah. There's a reason why I haven't been getting into it as much lately. I'm not really covering the mainstream election stuff because, the last election, I made videos and content that was Biden sucks, but we need to support him. And I can't, in good conscience, do that anymore. If you ask me, I'll say, yes, you should vote for Democrats down ballot because it's a harm reduction tactic. But I'm not going to be I can't throw my weight behind Biden's administration right now. I will continue to say, if you live in a swing state or if you live in a state that usually goes blue, you should probably vote for Biden. I guess I'm sort of grateful that I live in Kansas because it means that I kind of don't need to vote for Biden. My vote never matters for president, so... Democrats' entire agenda at this point is still getting back to brunch. Their first campaign strategy meeting went incumbents win most of the time, now pass the mimosas, and that was that. Yeah, how many Americans actually want Biden to be president versus how many of us just kind of feel like the Democratic National Committee is keeping us in a hostage situation where we have no choice but to vote for Biden. it's impossible to be optimistic or like excited about the prospects at this point. It does feel really insane to have been watching the West generally go, oh no, that's so sad whenever Palestine gets messed up, and then suddenly we're risking a second Trump term over it. Trump term over it when it would be so much worse. So much worse for Gaza and for us. I guess it's hard to see how it could be worse for Gaza right now. You know? Like, because I already think whichever president wins, I think that Palestine as a concept is gone. Like that's the trajectory that we're on. It's gonna be like we're heading toward a complete extinction. Like, how can you look at what's going on and go like, okay, if Biden wins, then the war is gonna end in Gaza. You know, we found out that on October 9th, Hamas made an offer to exchange hostages and they were turned away. This has happened like 6 times since October that there has been like an attempt by Hamas to like negotiate for the release of hostages, exchanging of hostages, and like they're just gonna kill all of them. That is the trajectory that we're on. Trump will full on support the genocide with no fucks given, then back a war on Iran. I kind of fail to see the material distinction between Trump will full on support the genocide versus versus Biden kind of sort of says behind closed doors. Like, you'll see these news articles sometimes that are like, behind closed doors, Biden is very disappointed in Netanyahu, and then they fucking approve more money, more weapons. Like, the material difference? I don't see one. Like, how quickly they're all going to die, maybe? But we're hitting famine now at this point, so, you know, it's like, how much longer are any of those people gonna last if there's no food? It's more the aftermath that scares me. Yeah, I will say Israel does seem to be ramping up its aggression to other entities in the region. Like, it's entirely possible that this is the start of, like, World War III, because they're bombing Lebanon. And, like, yeah, potential of going to war with Iran. Trumpet and Genocide Joe are the same policy-wise, except Joe is like 5% less evil on LGBT. Yeah, they do at least make gestures toward LGBT acceptance on the Democrat side. Drew, yeah, I remember when I was growing up, my parents would get mad at me for doing something wrong and then say, here's $14 billion in weapons. Biden halted weapons to Israel to discourage Israel from going into Rafah. It didn't work, though. Yeah, Mama just said that she thought that there was just another aid package approved. Was there? Let's see if there's... Yeah, like, from Al Jazeera, Biden administration plans to send $1 billion in military aid to Israel 14 hours ago. They keep saying, like, ooh, we're going to stop sending them whatever, or we're going to stop sending them certain weapons. Like, another $1 billion. And keeping in context, again, what we mentioned earlier in the show, that, like, you know, speaking, you know, they're sending all this money to Israel. Meanwhile, the bridge access program is about to end, and I'm going to have to pay $100 to get COVID vaccine in September. Like, it's just, I hate it so much. I'm just tired of this shit. I would much rather clown on James Somerton for an hour and a half at this point than try to talk about fucking the presidency. Like, either way, it's bad. Either way, you know, we're going to have billions of deaths across this planet over the next 50 years. Like, none of these people are making strong enough moves to combat climate change. Many, many people are going to die from H5N1 because that is, like, sales, let me tell you this, sales of raw milk, where we know that there is H5N1 in milk, and especially unpasteurized milk, sales of raw milk are going up right now because people are like, well, I want to get inoculated. I want to be immunized from, like, H5N1. And it's like, yeah, okay, congrats. You're going to cause another pandemic Lovato, except this one has like a 50% mortality rate. I like my milk pre-cooked, thank you. My household is switching to oat milk for at least a while, because even pasteurization, we don't know for sure, like, completely gets rid of it. It's supposed to, but we don't know for sure. We would need more evidence to be certain of that. So we're drinking oat milk. I'm going to be watching the James video after this stream as a palate cleanser. Yeah. Right now, my shorts feed is basically political content, people gaming, and animals being cute. I've been needing a lot more of the latter in recent years. Yeah. In, like, my time off stream, I am checked out completely from the election. I'm checked out completely from what's going on in Palestine. I'm still seeing updates about it because that's just what is on Twitter. But I'm not, like, spending any time or energy thinking about it because nothing has ever made me feel more powerless and shitty and hopeless and pessimistic. So I'm trying to focus on things that I have control over. I have, like, problems in my personal life that I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to, like, move across the country, hopefully sometime in the next year. And, you know, I'm trying to think of problems that it's within my scope to control. I would rather think about my workout tomorrow. Soy milk is fine. I prefer oath milk. You have to swear to protect and uphold truth and justice before drinking it, but it tastes like virtue. That sounds delicious. I was cutting grass and planting potatoes earlier. It is good to unplug from the internet. What state you thinking of moving to? Washington or Oregon, something like that. Places that are going to be relatively climate stable and also have protections for trans people. Really want to move to Massachusetts but no income? Yeah. You know, the ability to save up for a big move in and of itself is kind of a privilege, but I keep saying it. Y'all, if you're thinking of moving somewhere because it's, like, politically unsafe for you, you might have to just, like, sell most of your stuff in order to be able to afford it. Sell your stuff to get the money, and then you have less stuff you have to move, so you don't have to pay to move as much stuff. You don't have to get a bigger U-Haul. Yeah, it's a refugee thing. Being able to afford to take your entire life with you is a privilege that you cannot always afford when you're a refugee. I just took 2 days off social media entirely to calm my anxiety. Don't blame you at all. Oh, no income, like no job, so I would not be able to afford a home. Yeah, finding a situation where, you know, you can move in with people. Yeah, it's a whole tricky thing if you don't have income. If you have if you're a disabled person, can't work. Yeah, don't forget, you were once told in a debate about how refugees are privileged. Was that Zonia? I continuously forget about Zonia's existence because, God, she's so dumb. I was like, oh, you live in California? You're a California queer talking to me about what's safe and what makes sense? Like, what a dumbass. Anyway. That was a fun debate, though. I crushed that debate. I fucking crushed it. 5 people disagreeing with me. Man, That was a fun time. Coffee. I really needed the coffee after I took a mostly like unwilling nap earlier today. Sounds like a cursed debate. It was so cursed. But yeah, it ended up being pretty fun. I do enjoy arguing with people sometimes. It just can't be all the time. Yeah, I'm talking about the Is There a Genocide panel last year. I guess it was last year. Oh my god. Life is so long. The last 2 years of my life have been far too eventful. And I'm not even talking about the election stuff. I just mean my personal life. Like, there's just so much shit constantly. Being a trans person means sometimes you think you're in a safe space and it turns out to be liberals. Yeah, I did not know that it was going to be a 5 versus 1 until we started the fucking event. Will. What a jerk. The guy who organized that thing, what a huge jerk. The last 4 months have been the longest 2 years of my life. Yeah. I keep hoping it's going to slow down and then it doesn't, so... Going mobile is my solution. I've been looking at how to build bike campers and tiny houses. I've seen people do it with free materials no one wants. Good point. Yeah, embracing the nomadic lifestyle. I remember the one trans guy was sympathetic to your points, but still... Are you talking about Malcolm? I still feel like he was a really big jerk during that. Would you think about doing stuff like that again? I would go on panels. President Sunday said that he was going to start putting together debate panels, and I expressed interest to him. I don't think that he has made very much progress in making those happen again. But I am probably going to start hosting on The Line, the Transatlantic Call-In show, every once in a while. So I'm going to be doing basically debate content, just not on this channel. I need to call Jimmy tomorrow and be like, hey, let's figure out what the details are on this thing. I forgot to see you on the line last time. This most recent time that I was on the line was a lot of fun. We had a couple of spicy callers. It was fun. Press Sunday is too much of a sleepy boy, too. We're sleepy boys, okay? It's very tiring. Feel sympathy for me. Like, I am baby. It sucks because I went to, like I said, I went to bed at like 9:30 last night and I still feel fucking so tired today. So the impulse is like, as soon as I get done with the show, I want to go to sleep, but that's not gonna help. That hoodie looks cozy. It's so cozy. It's only $35 in the merch store. Support your local trans creator merch store. And represent gender anarchy. It is cozy. I wear it, like, more than just on the show. It is cozy, but I was either hot flashing last night or it was just too hot. Yeah, sometimes it's a little too warm, and I have to take it off. But that's a good thing. You want a nice cozy hoodie. If you want merch that isn't gonna make you toasty warm, then get a tank top. Yeah, I'm so eppy. Very, very eppy. I'm gonna cry. I'm so sleepy. Went from unemployed to 2 jobs real quick. Yeah. Yeah, 35 bucks is not bad for like a branded YouTuber hoodie. They're usually like 65 bucks. Like for your frame of reference, most of the time, if you're gonna get a hoodie that's branded from a particular creator, it's like 60 bucks. I could charge 60 bucks for this shirt and that would be completely on par with what is normal. But no, $35 because it doesn't need to be $60. Oh my God. I hate being this tired. I'm not unemployed. I'm just professionally funny. Yeah, it's a struggle for the comedians out there. Okay, I do need to take the hood off. It's a little too warm. A little too much. My hair is a mess today. I didn't really try to make sure it looked good before I started the show. Well, we've certainly had some conversations today. We need a hoodie emote. Peppo Comfy it has a rainbow, I'm sitting on it right now. It's like a rainbow, oh my God, blanket. Peppo Comfy has a rainbow blanket on him, which is the rainbow blanket that I sometimes don. Because it's cozy. It's good stuff. Shout out, as always, to Evie the Purple for doing that art. Can we get to 69 likes? We're very, very close. I love getting to 69 likes. It's one of my favorite things. Excuse me, burpee. Speaking of burpees, someone mentioned earlier. I did not end up finding anything about the anti-mask law earlier. Let's see. I need to eat more protein. Maybe that will help me be less tired. My drag queen name is Auntie Mask. Fun stuff. Cheers. Hey, look at that. We're at 69 likes. Hey. And remember, if we get to the stream donation goal, I will flex and I'll see if I can pull my bow to show off the back muscles involved with pulling my bow. Coffee. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and retweet this to save it. So I'll have like a little COVID segment today. And Kansas Attorney General. And oh yeah, the J.K. Rowling Rolling Stone article would also be fun. Did I tell you all that I just rewatched Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker? The first time I watched that movie, I hated it. And this time I didn't hate it as much. I think I turned my brain off for it this time a little bit, and that made it, that made it easier. Love that mug. Yes, thank you. My mother-in-law likes to get me coffee mugs with rainbows on them. It's like, Mom, I only need like 2 coffee mugs, and now I have like 5. But it's nice that she thinks of me, you know? It also says love on the inside rim a bunch. Love, 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 love. She's a sweetheart. No such thing as too many mugs. You don't know how small my kitchen is. Rise of Skywalker was so confusing to me, but like in a boring way. It's fun popcorn, I think. I think it's a good popcorn movie. I enjoyed it. The first time I yelled at it, I was like, don't kiss. I yelled. I was like, no. And I did this, and I was like, ah! This is your worst take for sure. ROS was bad. Listen, I'm not saying that it was like a great film. I'm just saying that I enjoyed it. I do agree, Decoy Duck. I hate that it took all the interesting new stuff they tried to do with The Last Jedi and threw it out the window. The Last Jedi, I think, was a good movie. And they had some, they seeded some interesting things. They teased some interesting things in The Last Jedi that they did not pay off in the third one. Somehow the Emperor Returned was not... Yeah, it was weird. And the whole, like, whoever is the, like, most powerful Sith or Jedi, like, has the spirits of all the previous Sith and Jedi in their... Like, I don't know, it was a little bit weird, definitely in some ways, but it was fun popcorn. It was not a good movie, but it was watchable. I think it was watchable. You're gonna cancel me for my Star Wars takes? Is that what we're doing now? Canceled. This is truly, I'm becoming Vosh. I'm canceled for my media takes. He's on vacation, so I have to say egregiously stupid things about movies while he's gone. Star Wars, The House of Skywalker. Yeah. It was definitely, it had its dumb moments. Star Wars, The House of Skywalker, Skywalker Legacy. This is absolutely cancelable. I'm gonna need you to pack your stuff and go. Well, that's the end for me, guys. Sorry. Just leaves the room. Bye. Bye. I'm accepting my cancellation. Yeah, I had a nice run. I've been streaming for 2 years. And, now we're done. That's the end of my career now. Okay. I guess let's do this COVID segment real quick so that we can get it out of the way, and then we'll get back to trans-related topics. Wait, is that the same? Wait. Oh, yeah, I guess, Jabba the Hutt was on Tatooine, huh? I did think that was weird. Milena says, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and honor Leia by burying her lightsaber on the planet she was enslaved on. Ooh, ooh. It made sense to me for you to bury Luke's lightsaber there because that's where he grew up. But I was like... Yeah, like, how is this honoring Leia at all? It's not like you couldn't take the extra time to go to Coruscant. Was it Coruscant that she grew up on? That's a piece of information that my brain just kind of popped up. Oh, she grew up on Alderaan. Okay. Which did get blowed up. Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, well then where is, like, where are you supposed to put it? If her home planet got blowed up, just pick another planet in the same system, I guess? I don't know. That does, yeah, it does change things. The fact that we have these, like, planet-destroying machines. My hot take is that many creators only dump all over Star Wars because it's guaranteed more clicks and engagement the crazier the take is. Yeah. There's probably a mass grave full of the people with good ideas over there. Just throw it in there. Oh, God. Also, what about Yavin, the place where she dedicated her life to fighting the Empire and found a new family? Yeah, it's kind of established, I think, in Rise of Skywalker that Leia... I mean, it really is one of the weirdest, like, retcons ever. Because there is no evidence in any of the prior movies that Leia had a lightsaber or that she was given Jedi training. In Rise of Skywalker, they're just like, by the way, Leia had a lightsaber and she trained with Luke. He taught her how to be a Jedi. And therefore, that's why she's able to train Rey. And it's like, okay, all right, cool. Bury it on Naboo. It was her mom's planet after all. True. If you're just coming in, hit the like button. We're chilling, talking about stupid shit that doesn't matter because I'm fucking tired. This is what happens when you start a trilogy with no plan or spine. Agree. I think that the whole thing would have been a lot better if it had the same director through all 3 movies. I think that was established a long time ago in the novels and stuff that Leia trained. Here's a fun fact for you. A lot of fans of Star Wars feel like the books made it what it is. Like the books expanded on it. And when Disney decided that they were going to make The Force Awakens, they explicitly came out and said, none of this shit is canon. None of that shit is canon. None of it. Absolutely none of it. Nothing from the books is canon. So anything about, like, they took some stuff from the books, like the fact that, like, Han and Leia got together and had a kid whose name was Ben Solo. They did steal that from the books. Like, they did take things from the books, but that shit is not canon anymore. Yeah, it was the Thrawn trilogy. These... Did you know that I have Star Wars books? These were a gift for Christmas one year from, like, a secret Satan group that I was in, and I've never read them. This is the Thrawn trilogy, though. I have it. I read the Bane trilogy. That was pretty fucking lit. I loved the Bane trilogy. I wasn't really expecting to just pull out the Thrawn trilogy today. I loved the Bane trilogy. Okay, you're on canceled. Thank you. I'm redeemed. Because I liked Bane. Check your Discord DMs. Why? Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartache. Okay, so this is... Milena sent me in the DMs. So Palpatine designed Snoke to test Kylo Ren and prepare him for his role as the heir of the Sith, but also apparently influenced Snoke's mind to ensure that Kylo Ren would be able to kill him. And he spent years looking for Rey, but he, through Snoke, commanded Kylo Ren multiple times to kill Rey as a test, to call his bluff, but also he needs Rey alive. Oh, this is from Jenny Nicholson. But also he needs Rey alive to strengthen himself, so when he meets Kylo Ren, he tells him again to kill Rey, and Kylo Ren defies him, but that's okay because in fact he wants Rey to both be alive and kill him so she can be heir to the Sith, and then Kylo and Rey get there and he drains their life force without having to die and then hurls Kylo Ren to his death and then fights Rey. The perfect crime. Yeah. It is convoluted. It is convoluted. Does Jenny Nicholson still make videos? That's a good question. Jenny Nicholson. I guess she hasn't posted anything recently. Her last video was a year ago. So she hasn't posted anything since let's see, when was this?
So, in
She posted this on November 4th, 2022 was the last video that Jenny Nicholson posted. That's a bummer. Excuse me. Tell me why. I wonder why she stopped creating on that platform. I mean, as a woman posting on on YouTube, it's hard. It's hard to deal with all the stupid shit that is going on constantly. Maybe she went to Nebula or Patreon. Maybe. Yeah. I don't really like Star Wars. Like, it's not something that I'm usually gonna go out of my way for. Like, I'm not gonna go... I don't know. Is The Mandalorian any good? I don't know. Gayfesh says that I really should watch Andor, because that's apparently really good. And Andy Serkis is in it, so listen, that's kind of all it takes to convince me, because I love Andy Serkis. The Mandalorian is good, but you'll have to see Gina Carano for the first 2 seasons. I just watched the first Deadpool movie again, and she's in that. I kind of forgot. I was like, who is that? And then I was like, oh shit, that's Gina Carano. How much could a Star Wars cost, Michael? $10? Andor is actually anti-fascist media. Yeah, I've heard it's very, very good. So, yeah. Me and my cancelable media takes. I thought Rise of Skywalker was a watchable film. Yeah, the first time I watched it, I hated it. This most recent time, I think I just kind of wanted to enjoy a movie. I love how Gina Carano has been, like, recently saying, like, oh yeah, I would go back to Disney if they wanted to hire me again. Mm-hmm. Watchable film as long as you don't take it seriously and don't actually consider any implications. I will die on the hill that The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie. I love The Last Jedi. Like, I think that they really, really, really did something with that movie. I know, you want to have fun watching media? Canceled. Slapped. Canceled. Alright, let's do a goddamn COVID segment, huh? I want it that way. Tell me why. I don't know why that's in my head. I was watching something earlier that had that. Oh, there's that clip from flippin' Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's what it was. I saw the clip from Brooklyn Nine-Nine with that Backstreet Boys song in it. Ain't nothing but a heartache. Anyhoozle. Let's talk about COVID, because yes, that's still a thing. We're going to be talking more and more about bird flu as well. We will touch on bird flu today. Let's talk about communicable illnesses, airborne communicable illnesses in our communities. Let's do it, okay? So one thing that I want to point out to start with here is that the FDA has now said that it is indeed preparing for an outbreak of H5N1. Oh man. We have seen at least a couple of cases of H5N1 in humans. Usually it's humans who work with cows because it's bird flu, but we're seeing instances of cats catching it and dying from it. We know that there is bird flu in cow's milk, like cows have it, although pasteurization is allegedly supposed to kill the virus. But at least one expert in bird flu that I have read comments from says that he is not drinking cow's milk or like cream or any similar products until we have more evidence that it's not going to harm people. There's different strains there are different strains of H5N1, and some of them are more deadly than others. So it kind of seems at this point, looking at this Newsweek article, like it could kill bird flu could kill like 25% of the people that it infects. We've seen some strains of bird flu that have more like a 50% death rate. But so that's crazy high. Okay? And given how, at least in my country, the US of A, at least in my country, the way that we've handled the COVID pandemic, which is not over. I know sometimes I post about COVID and then there's people in the comments like, oh, wow, you're still talking about COVID? Like, yeah, like COVID is still killing like 1,000 Americans per week. So, and it has permanently disabled like 4 million plus people. Those are lowball estimations, right? So, yeah, it's still a problem. And we need to talk about how to deal with public health because COVID is not the only virus. It's not the only thing that can kill people. It's not the only thing that can disable people permanently. We've seen babies getting RSV very shortly after being born, being hospitalized, being on intensive treatments. And who the hell knows how that's going to affect their lung function permanently. Like flu can be deadly. Like in America, we do not take enough precautions around even the flu. We think of the flu as like a thing. It's almost like we think of it as a cold, but flu kills people. We should be wearing a respirator anytime we have symptoms. Even if you think it's just allergies, you should still be wearing a respirator. And also, if you wear a respirator, then your allergy symptoms will be less intense. But whatever, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Except that I will say you definitely should be wearing a respirator anytime you leave the house. By respirator, I mean an N95 or higher, like at least that level of protection. I wear an N95. I go to the gym 4 days a week, and I haven't caught COVID since like the Delta wave. Or actually, no, that's not true. I caught COVID during the Eris wave because I was doing Renaissance Festival, and someone that I had to come in close contact with was very obviously sick. Whew, I was annoyed. Thankfully, that was a pretty mild infection, but, it was a mild infection because I'm vaccinated. So we do still need to continue to get vaccines. And the vaccine subject is the thing that I really wanted to bring up initially today, because if you're uninsured or if you're underinsured, like I have this streamer job, I don't make a huge amount of money, and I live in Kansas where Medicaid has not been expanded. Like, if you're a poor person, you just don't get to have Medicaid, which is like the public health option insurance in Kansas. It is only for people who have like a proven disability, or like maybe if you have children, you can get on Medicaid on account of the fact that you have children. But Kansas just opted not to expand Medicaid. So I have to rely on stuff like the Bridge Access Program, which you may have heard of. Like, the Bridge Access Program is what has made COVID vaccines free for low-income people. And it has been creeping up that that program is going to come to an end unless we pressure our politicians to continue funding it. And last year, when I went to get my bivalent booster, I tried to get the bivalent booster, and the first pharmacy I went to did not participate in the Bridge Access program, and they were going to charge me more than $100 to get a vaccine against a BSL-3 pathogen, a biosafety level 3 pathogen that gives people MECFS, which means you cannot get out of bed anymore, and gives people like so much immune damage that they develop AIDS. You know HIV, human immunodeficiency virus? Well, HIV doesn't kill you directly. You can have HIV and take antivirals. If you let HIV go untreated, you end up with damage to your immune system, and AIDS is acquired immune deficiency syndrome. And if you catch COVID over and over again, it will damage your CD4 levels enough to give you AIDS. So this year, you know, we've been wondering, like, how is this going to work? Are they going to extend the Bridge Access program? No, they're not. Originally, they were going to say, you know, we're going to make sure that you still have access to this until December. However, now it's going to end in August. And the reason why I'm particularly spicy and particularly annoyed about that is that, I don't know if you've paid attention the last couple of years, but the new booster comes out. Like they're working to develop boosters that are continuing to protect against new variants, because this is a rapidly mutating, like immune avoidant virus. It keeps like getting around your immune system. There's a reason why you can catch COVID twice in 1 month, because A, there are like dozens, if not hundreds at this point, of different variations of it, different variants. But like it also can circumvent your existing like immune response that you have. So it's really egregious to me that, oh, they were initially saying, oh, this is going to go until December, but now it's going to go until August, because that means when the new booster comes out in September, you will not be able to get it for free. If you have insurance, your insurance may or may not cover it, but there will be no Bridge Access program. So I would recommend, it's not going to be the same, but if you can get a bivalent booster, the newest one, if you can get a new booster sometime this summer before the Bridge Access program ends, I would recommend doing that, even though it's not going to be like the most up-to-date booster. But you're going to have to pop $100 for this vaccine, like a medically necessary life-saving vaccine that anybody needs to get. It doesn't matter if you're immune compromised. First of all, if you have ever had COVID, then you are immune compromised. And like, yeah, it's just going to be, I guess you're screwed. You have to pay $100. The price gouging on this is absolutely insane. And it's because of funding cuts. It's because of like funding cuts. They are sending another $1 billion to Israel to help in their campaign to destroy every child in Gaza. But they can't extend funding to make sure that adults, children, old people can have access to this vaccine. Yeah, had to pay £100 for a COVID booster in the UK. I'm surprised that they even gave you a booster, because I've heard people say that in the UK you can't get one unless you're like medically vulnerable, specifically, like unless you can prove that you're medically vulnerable. But maybe that's just they won't cover it on the NHS is probably the thing. Yeah, double whammy. We're gonna kill Palestinians and kill poor Americans all at once. So I'm livid. I'm livid about this. Oh, the UK has only been available privately for 2 months. I'm so glad that you're able to get a booster, even if it's £100, because I know for a long time y'all weren't able to get any boosters over there. Our government sees both deaths abroad at the costs of deaths domestic as a win-win. Like win-win on all counts. They're going to continue making it harder and harder to get disability benefits. I know in the UK they're making efforts to make it even harder. to get disability benefits while pulling a let it rip. Like, okay, it's not just let it rip that they're doing here with COVID. The policy of the Democrats since Biden came into office has been like, vax and relax. Get the vaccine and then continue your life as usual, which is objectively a terrible idea. Terrible, terrible, terrible policy. Does not follow the science at all. To just vaccinate and then go on like huffing everybody's disgusting plague air. No. Wear a respirator. But like, if your policy is vax and relax, how are you gonna like go, yeah, well, we're not providing vaccines anymore. Like, suck it. Pay $100 to Pfizer to get this vaccine. It's already confusing and upsetting to me that the flu vaccine is something you have to pay for if you don't have like insurance, you know? Like, you think if I could afford insurance, you think I would maybe be buying it? Like, do you like, I guess $100 for a fucking COVID vaccine twice a year is less expensive than $400 a month for insurance. So it's still sort of preferable, I guess, to me, because I cannot afford that. Like, y'all, I make my money off of donations. Y'all know basically how much money I get. If you super chat, you know I'm getting your super chat money. If you give a gift donation through the website, like, that's my income. And Patreon, Patreon is pretty reliable and it's nice to get it. But like, I don't make a ton of money. Like, the expectation that in order to be safe, in order to be able to breathe the air, I have to pay $100. We're entering that phase where you're going to have to start buying cans of air. This is just like the less direct, the less poignant version of that. We're like, yeah, I'm having to pay $100 to be able to breathe the air along with everybody else without catching an oncogenic virus. And at the same time, in places like Ohio, they have laws where you're not allowed to wear masks. Or I guess maybe it's more specifically like, if you are committing a crime and you're wearing a mask, that increases the severity of the crime. But it's a felony crime to wear a mask. There are people in Ohio who are being arrested at protests, being charged with a felony for wearing a, quote, disguise, citing a 1953 law. There are more laws trying to pass in other states, but like 2 pro-Palestine protesters were arrested outside of Xavier University, scheduled for arraignment Monday. Let's see. They are charged with criminal trespassing, which is considered a misdemeanor, but they also violated the, quote, prohibition against conspiracy while wearing disguise statute. This makes it a felony to commit a crime, even a misdemeanor, with 2 or more other people while wearing masks. And I've seen people talking on Twitter about, like, this law has not been enforced like this, even for bank robberies. This is one of those laws that's considered completely, it technically exists on the books, but like, it's one of those ones that we don't enforce. It's like anti-sodomy laws. Technically, it's illegal in certain states. Like, I think Kansas might actually still have an anti-sodomy law. Like, it's illegal to do anal sex in places with anti-sodomy laws, but they just kind of don't enforce those laws anymore. And this is proof that with, these wild laws that kind of don't make any sense in the modern day, they're going to enforce them when it's convenient. Upgrading, like, the charge misdemeanor trespassing to a felony charge because these people were wearing respirators in an attempt to minimize the spread of COVID. And also, like, yeah, I personally think that it's not, it shouldn't be, if you're at a protest and you're wearing a mask, that, increases the crime that you're committing. Yeah, like, the whole F the police thing, like, I don't want you to see my face. I don't want you to know. And I don't know where the post is. I don't know if I saved it, but I did recently see that some arrests were being made on these college campuses, and the cops were, like, pushing these people down to their knees in front of the Fox News cameras and ripping off their face masks to expose them to an audience of people who are increasingly violent. So yeah, like, COVID's still running rampant. We have HSV, we have flu. H5N1 is probably about to break out into the human population on a broader scale, especially because sales of raw milk have increased since the news has come out that there is bird flu in raw milk, and there are fragments of bird flu in pasteurized milk. But, like, people are deliberately trying to catch these diseases. That people are out there going like, I'm gonna continue going to restaurants, like, I'm not gonna stop living my life because you want to exist in public. I did see someone just post like that. I don't know. Yeah, this tweet. I refuse to give up living so you can exist. This person is like, I will go to restaurants and stuff, and I think that you don't deserve to exist, and my right to do that, to go to restaurants and do all this stupid stuff, supersedes your right to literally exist. These are the people that we're supposed to be sharing a country with. But don't worry, you won't have to share a country with them for much longer. You know, if we continue to take COVID precautions, which I hope anyone in my audience still does, I'm judging you if you don't. You know, these people are going to keep huffing disgusting plague air. They're going to permanently disable themselves. They're going to permanently disable their children. They're going to lose lung function. They're going to get ME/CFS and be unable to get out of bed. Or maybe they'll die from a secondary infection because their bodies can't fight off anything. Again, HIV gives you AIDS, and usually it's because you catch some other illness and your immune system does not have the ability to fight it off. Like, these people don't want to live in a society with us. These people want us to die. They would rather we die so that they can continue sending their kids to school and going out to drinks with their friends and partying and, you know, licking doorknobs and toilet seats. You know, they're living their best life. And the government policies, increasingly, are in line with this eugenicist policy. And people think they're immune to the complications that are inevitably going to arise, as though they're never going to become disabled. Like, these people who are mostly healthy most of the time seem to believe that, you know, this viewpoint they have where they're like, well, if you're medically vulnerable, then you should just die. Like, well, babe, that's going to be you someday. If you live long enough, you're going to become disabled. You're going to become old. This is like how we define old age, is by you gradually losing the ability to do things, including having the ability to fight off these illnesses. And our government is going to make it illegal to wear masks. Businesses are putting up signs in their window saying, we won't serve you if you have a mask. Well, I don't know if they outright will not serve you, but I did see a sign on a business recently that said, if you want to wear a mask, come to the front desk so that we can assist you through your... And it's basically like, oh, so they're going to follow you around. It's kind of like racial profiling. It's not exactly like racial profiling, but basically, we're going to accompany you through the entire store, just in case you're trying to conceal your identity so that you can steal something. As though the police catch shoplifters anyway. You know, like, how often do police actually pursue theft and solve the crime? Vanishingly few opportunities. Like, vanishingly few times do they actually pursue things. I've seen people find their own stolen car. Like, they do the work to find their own stolen car because cops are basically just like, meh, we don't care. Meh, go fuck yourself. Like, we don't give a shit. You think that you can get past their sociopathy by appealing to their self-interest, but you forget that they're stupid on a level I have no words for. I don't think that you can appeal to these people. I think these people who are like, I refuse to give up living so you can exist, if they hope that I die, I hope the same for them. Like, good. Huff plague air, take public transit, go to parties, make out with strangers. Keep doing it. Please. Please. Yeah, Demon Mama had a whole story about when their car got stolen and like their family car got stolen and they all had to do the work themselves to find it. Yeah, without cops, who's going to show up in a few hours and say they can't do anything? I don't know what I would do if I lived in a place that tried to criminalize wearing a mask. I think I would get arrested. I mean, what? Am I going to stop going to the gym wearing a mask? Like, what? Am I going to unmask at the grocery store? No. There's like a 0% chance. And I live in Kansas, which is very conservative and may very well head that direction where they try to criminalize people wearing masks. We might even have one of those 1953 mask laws like Ohio does and start trying to enforce it. But also, to be fair, I don't go to protests. I think that that's kind of the crossover issue, the intersectional issue here, is that these people are protesting and then being criminalized because they're wearing masks at the protest. Maybe it would be the case that they wouldn't enforce this law if you were just at the grocery store. Yeah, I believe she told about the chase scene. I heard that from like Gayfesh, I think. Yeah, so yeah, Prosy, they're criminalizing wearing masks. Pro-Palestine protesters arrested under a misdemeanor charge of trespassing, and the charge has been, they are also being charged with a felony because of the prohibition against conspiracy while wearing disguise statute. So if you commit a crime, even if it's a misdemeanor, along with 2 or more people while wearing masks, then you've committed a felony. I feel like usually we're accustomed to disagreeing with people who still want the same things we do, like better lives for most people, if possible. But those people who are generally mistaken about how to get it or who have different ideas about how to get it, they fundamentally disagree on what the goals of a society should be in this instance. Death and suffering of people who inconvenience them is good. Death and suffering of people who annoy them is good. Death and suffering of people who exist in a way they dislike is good. There's no argument to be had there. Yeah, there's no convincing these people. There's no trying to get, like, there's no living in a society with these people. You just have to let them get sick over and over again until they can't leave the house anymore. And then we can all go on and continue living in a sane society. Reminds me of a joke in Arrested Development. They made the people protesting the military go in a cage where no one can see them to continue their protest legally. Yeah. And you see more often they're criminalizing things like blocking traffic. You know, like how much more effective is a protest that's blocking traffic versus how effective is a protest where they're on the sidewalk waving signs? You know, there's a reason why people block traffic. It's because we're saying, look, these actions that you're taking are destroying people's lives or stopping people's lives or like harming people. And like, you don't get to have fluid traffic. You don't get to have easy living. Like, you get your lives disrupted until like the disruption that's being done by the government stops. That's the point. Protests are meant to be disruptive because like the whole thing about them is like protest is what happens when voting stops working. Protest is what happens when the will of the people is being ignored. And that's like protest is our way of saying, excuse the fuck out of me. You're gonna listen and you're gonna change things or we're gonna shut down the highway. Like that's how this works. And even protest like that is the compromise position to showing up at your house and burning it down. This is what these people don't get. If you crack down on legal protest, if protesting the way that we usually do becomes illegal, we're going to do increasingly illegal shit. Like if the consequences for protesting at at a college with a mask on, if that's a felony, then we might as well burn down your house. Like, that's the compromised position, is peaceful protest. And these people are going to find out. They're going to find out. Right now is the fucking around phase. Eventually they're going to find out. Blocking ambulance and fire services is an issue. Protests always make way for ambulance and fire services. They don't ever stop those things from getting through. Protests that block roads, they always make way for ambulances and fire trucks. Yeah, if it's the same level of offense, then you might as well start looting. Like, if simply being at the protest with a mask on is going to get you a felony charge. It's kind of like when they criminalize abortion. It's like, you know, if you are sexually assaulted and you become pregnant, if you live in a place where it's like a crime that you will end up in jail to get an abortion, then you might as well kill your rapist. Like, what incentive is there to not do that? Like when they made all punishments for crimes the death penalty, people started doing worse crimes. Yeah. If you're going to hit the death penalty for stealing bread, then you might as well go and steal thousands of dollars worth of stuff. Like, you might as well shoot someone in the process of doing your robbery. So, look forward to more civil unrest. Look forward to more COVID. Look forward to more mortality from H5N1 as that inevitably enters the human population. Yeah, if there's no-fault divorce, yeah, it's crazy how many men end up with like mysterious levels of poison in their food or simply go missing. I don't personally have a grandma with a story like this, but I know that there are grandmas out there who have stories about like, yeah, Edith's first husband, you know, he was a no good man, and we took care of him. If divorce is illegal, that's what happens. Like, it's several First Amendment problems here. That you can't be wearing a mask in public. First Amendment violation, right? I should be able to wear whatever I want. That's freedom of expression. The right to protest, that's supposed to be guaranteed under the First Amendment. People are going to freak out if these rights keep getting chipped away like this. Anyway, wear a respirator. Point blank period. Anytime you leave the house, there's wildfires, there's pollution, there's COVID. The police are trying to track your location. Wear a respirator. I bought a box of 20 N95 masks for like $40 at the Home Depot. And, you know, I'm not wearing them for 8 hours at a time, so I'll usually wear the same mask for like a couple weeks for like, oh, here's an hour at the grocery store, here's an hour at the gym. No exceptions. Wear a fucking respirator. Thank you. All right, that's probably the end of the segment. That was a spicy segment. I'm gonna have to edit that quite a lot. I'm gonna have to bleep out a lot of words. I don't think I could go to work with a respirator without getting mocked by coworkers and questioned by customers. Fucking and? Why do you care about being mocked or questioned? Just, like, you can just lie and say your mom has cancer. I really don't understand the social pressure angle on this. If you're in a place where you might get assaulted if you're wearing a mask, then my recommendation is don't fucking go outside. But like, if what you're dealing with is just social pressure, suck it up. Deal with it. It's not that big of a deal. How did you survive high school? Getting mocked and questioned, babes, I'm literally transgender. Yeah. Maybe I'm just built different. Anyway, stream notes. Let's see. Protesters, stream notes. That's a little segment for the week. That's a segment, a seggy seg, a spicy seg. What is today? The 15th is today. COVID, vaccines, masks, OMG, what the fuck. There we go. Yay. We did a segment. To some people, insurrection equals cool and free speech, whereas blocking traffic or shouting in a museum equals terrorism and evil. Yeah, it's like, you know, when I do it, it's fine kind of thing. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I was in the middle of a rant earlier. Noah, thank you for your $4.99 donation in Super Chat. You look like if Monster Energy Drink was a person. I mean, it makes sense given the hoodie that I'm wearing. Thank you. And then Himjack, thank you so much for your $100 dono. They said stream tax and booster funds. Enjoy your flex. I'm going to sleep. Good night. Thank you very much for joining us and for your donation. Appreciate you. That brings us up to $145 for today's show. I need to change my shirt because I'm wearing a very see-through white tank top underneath this shirt, underneath this hoodie. Shout out to the r/Herman Kane Award on Reddit, getting ready for the bird flu idiots. Does your partner wear white and gray a lot? Because then y'all would be a couple of monster cans. True. Time for water. Anyway, yeah. I've been drinking coffee this whole time, but I do need to drink water. And yeah, I'm gonna go put on a different shirt, and then I'll flex and I'll string my bow and pull the bow and see how that works on stream, because I've never done that before. I've also found that if you're just really nice while you're wearing the mask, it kind of diffuses some of the weird looks and confusion that people have. Okay. Yeah, always pair your coffee with water. My lemon water with coffee. Always drink more water. I mostly wear black with lime green accents. I am a can of Monster. Yeah. Alright, let me go change my shirt so that I don't reveal my nip nops on stream. I don't think YouTube would like that very much. Alright. Don't go anywhere, though. I'm gonna flex as soon as I get back. We're almost at 100 likes for the show, and we're gonna do... We have 2 more segments to do before we wrap up tonight. 2 more segments after the flex. Alright, I'll be back momentarily. I'll give you to the bugs. Enjoy the bugs. Jump scare. Hi, I'm back. Oh, Jackie. You got muted? Oh, you posted too many emojis. Terrible. How dare you do that? Okay, hold on. Okay. I have my stringer. And I have my bow. I don't really fully take the, string off. So let's... I've never done this sitting down. Let's see how this goes. I made modifications to my bow, as you can see. Added some leather to it. This is to stop the string from slapping. And this is some rabbit fur. It's like absorbs some of the vibrations on the string so that it doesn't jar me as much when I'm shooting. I haven't been shooting in like a little bit though. I went like early last week, but I haven't been in a minute. Which is a bit of a bummer. I was kind of thinking about going today, but then I was just so overwhelmingly tired. It was just not going to happen. All right. Giant bow. All right. Okay. I got it. String the bow. I know that you can't see a lot of this cool, amazing action. I'm sorry. Too bad. You'll just have to trust me. Yeah, we're doing a bow flex today. All right. Hold on. You're already getting some flex, huh? Okay. All right, there we go. Now it's strung. Here we go. So, let me see if I can keep myself in frame this way. Okay. Gotta make sure that the back is in here. You gotta tell me if this works, alright? Here, let me move my stream thing over here so that I can see it a little bit better. That's at full draw for me. I don't know if you can see it very well. Yeah, I don't know. Was that good? Did that work? Bonk. Okay, sun's out, guns out. That worked. All right, I'll have to look at it in a minute. I'll have to see if it'll show up again. Do a third one? Obviously, I'm not going to shoot it because there's dry fire. There was something in the way. Was it my microphone? Get out of here. Hello. Okay, I'll put the microphone over here so I can continue to talk to you even while I'm pulling my bow. Oh my god. Nope, that doesn't work either. No. No, this is not working. This is such a limited amount of space, y'all. It's so difficult. It's so difficult to do things. Not the heaviest bow in the world. Doesn't require a huge amount of work to pull it, but there was pulling bow. Yeah, we need that second camera with a broader full body view for this. I'm just gonna have to put it on Fansly. I volunteer as tribute. Yeah, trying to draw a bow in a full 2 square feet of space. That's what I'm doing here. Like, front arm. There's not a lot of muscular stuff happening in this arm. This was just a stabilizing arm. It's all in the shoulder on this arm. But you can see it in the forearm here. Yeah, it's good. It's fun. I'm gonna leave my bow strung until after the show. So anyway, regular flexing. Like my right arm and back. Gonna continue getting more. I know, I gotta find someone to take pictures of me while I flex with the bow. Where did my stringer go? Did I put it on the... like on the floor? I don't know, I'll have to clean up this area. Oh, there it is, I found it. We have fun. We have a good time. Thinking about getting back into archery. Listen, there are going to be mass food shortages within the next 15 to 20 years, so I think that if you get into archery and you shoot some rabbits, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I know. The bunnies. Okay, we'll shoot some ducks then. Or quail or something. Doesn't have to be bunnies. What do you lift every day? I can't go into the whole... I'm just starting a bulk, so it's also like... I'm not at my maximums right now. Down with the ducks and the geese. Thinking of working some archery into my gardening. Do more stuff outdoors, y'all. Do more stuff outside. All right. We're going to do Kansas Attorney General segment. Yes, I could change out the wings to have a higher draw weight. Yeah. I was just saying to my partner, like, you know, I'm getting pretty accurate at the 10-yard range. But if I was trying to shoot at the 20-yard range, it would be much more difficult for me to be accurate unless I had a stronger bow. But this bow is customizable. Basically, like this, it unscrews and then the limb comes off. So you can just get different limbs that have a different strength. So, yeah. Do stuff outside. Damn it, I live out here. It's so fun. It's a lot of fun. My anchor point is at my jaw right here. Fun hobbies. Yeah, let me put my hoodie back on. I gotta put these guns away before they kill somebody. I don't know. Real leftism is bowing and rowing. I've never been rowing. All right. Y'all can't handle this. Too much horny chat, all right? Too much smuggies, too many bonks. Gotta hide it. Gotta put it away. Put it away. Put it away. Too powerful. Too much for who? Listen, there's like a horniness quotient, and if it gets too crazy, gotta bring it back down. I know, my hotness is too strong. I'm glad you enjoy. I'm planning on going hard on this bulk. I'm gonna bulk really hard, and then I'm gonna switch to a cut, like in August, I think. So I'm gonna try to bulk out as hard as I can over the next 2 months, and then cut in August. And we'll see what the results are. Yep, it's gonna ignite the atmosphere. We gotta be careful. There's too much oxygen in the atmosphere. We gotta be careful. But yeah, we're gonna do a segment on Kansas being stupid, and then we can chit-chat about the Rolling Stones article, but I don't know that we're gonna actually do, like, a segment for that. Geese are evil snake birds. True. Need some high SPF sunscreen to watch this stream. Yep. Ooh, there's 99 likes. If it's already hit 100, then I'm on a delay and I can't see it. Appreciate y'all. Hanging out, chatting, donating, hitting the like button, like all that stuff. Definitely makes me feel nice. Oh, I've seen the inside of a swan's mouth. They got teeth. They got teeth in there. You don't want to get a beeger from a goose or a swan. No goose beegers. Y'all know about duck penises, right? I don't need to tell you. Unfortunately, yes. That's why you don't see a lot of duck furries. I'm sure it's a very particular kind of person who's a duck furry. Like a very particular kind of person. Oh, that's too funny. You can buy a duck corkscrew. That's terrible. That's awful. That's terrible. If I get bottom surgery, that is not what I'm going for. That's terrible. Oh, the internet. The silly things you do. I know, I'm sorry for the case-sensitive nonsensity. If I get bottom surgery, I want to lay eggs that produce face huggers. True. It is kind of cringe in the same way as the FMA Chimera jokes. Yeah. Oh my god, I gotta drink more water before we start this next segment. I have so much vocal fry right now. Yas, alien queen. Man, I brushed my teeth this morning, but they feel so weird right now. Too much lemon in my water, perhaps. I only have 2 modes in chat, either weird horny posting or violent revolution. Listen, okay? Listen. Oh god, let me zoom this in. We recently covered some positive news regarding Title IX protections. Title IX has to do with school protections, and it's the one that says, you know, you cannot discriminate on the basis of, you know, race, religion, sex, and all that stuff in school environments. And we have been relying on judicial interpretations where courts have determined that gender identity and sexual orientation are considered types of sex discrimination just based on, you know, if it's fine for a man to be married to a woman, but it's not fine for a man to be married to a man, like, then that's basically sex discrimination. And similar with gender identity, if you wouldn't fire a man for wearing a suit, or I guess that's not a great example because women, it's more permissive for women to wear suits, but like if you would hire a woman, cisgender woman who's wearing a dress, but you would fire a transgender woman for wearing a dress, then you have discriminated on against the trans woman on the basis of sex, right? Different, you know, Title VII, Title IX, like they apply to different parts of society. Title IX is the education one. Recently, Obama's administration basically like changed the wording or the intention of the Title IX rules to basically explicitly say that discrimination against people for their transgender identity is covered under Title IX discrimination. Did I say Obama? I meant Biden. Although this has been a situation that's been under question since the Obama administration. Like, it's been a while. Obama, listen. So this was good news, you know? Instead of relying on court interpretations, then, you know, if it's just straight up, if it's part of the law that we know for sure that discrimination against trans people or gay people is sex discrimination or is explicitly protected, I don't know the exact wording of it, then that's better than, like, court interpretations can change. That's part of why the whole Roe v. Wade and then Dobbs decision was so terrible, is that, you know, they had 50 years to take this court ruling and turn it into a real law, and they didn't do that, which is why they were able to get a new court ruling that just reversed 50 years of abortion protections at the federal level. So, working through the courts, speaking of the courts again, the Kansas Attorney General, hi, I live in Kansas, it sucks here, Chris Kobach, has decided to sue the Biden administration because of this expansion of protections for LGBTQ students. Announced May 14th, Chris Kobach is, you know, suing over the rewrite of federal rules to protect LGBTQ students. Alaska, Utah, and Wyoming partnered with Kansas on the lawsuit, which, oh yeah, so it's 4 states following the U.S. Department of Education's release in April of new guidelines to prohibit discrimination at federally funded schools. These Title IX rules are supposed to go into effect on August 1st. They explicitly ban discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity. And under this revision, LGBTQ plus students who face discrimination will be entitled to a response from their school and can seek action from the federal government. So basically what happens in those instances is, if the federal law is a certain way and then the states break that law, then usually what happens is the federal government sues them. So the federal government sues the states and says, oi, federal law supersedes state law. So if you're going to try to break the law, then we're going to sue you. And there will be, like, punishment, basically. On what possible grounds? Let's find out. So Kobach says that this change violates the First Amendment rights of teachers and school employees whose religious beliefs would prevent them from complying with the rule. So he continues, he quotes saying, "It's insanity. Biden's Title IX rule is unconscionable. It's dangerous to girls and women, and it's against federal law." Babe, it is the federal law. That is the federal law. Chris Kobach is also pro-lead plumbing. Oh God, no, I hadn't heard about that. There is it's an 85-page lawsuit. Kobach focused his assertion that trans athletes shouldn't participate in women's sports. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals just determined that that is sex discrimination to bar trans girls from participating. In 2023, Kansas lawmakers passed a ban prohibiting trans student athletes from participating in girls and women's sports. The state law could conflict with new federal rules, although the federal revision doesn't explicitly address trans athletes. Kobach says, "I can certainly tell you that if any of my girls are competing in sports against boys, that is going to make me very unhappy." Be unhappy then. Get used to it. Sorry. Trans people's rights don't, like, your feelings don't trump our rights. If you feel like it's unfair, okay, well then prove it, bitch. Like, prove it. Give me the evidence. This is the argument that I got into on the line last week. Like, okay, you can feel that it's not right. You can feel that it's unfair, but unless you have the evidence, I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't care what you feel. We have rights to participate in society. We have Title IX protections that both the courts and the executive branch administration have said that we are protected from discrimination on these grounds. Yeah, I'm also getting sick of people using literal fiction books to oppress other people. Like, I don't care what your biblical beliefs are. You have the right to practice your religion on your own. That doesn't mean, like, okay, why do you think that a teacher has the right to refuse to, like, use someone's correct name and pronouns? We've been over this. What was that lady's name? I can't even remember her name because she doesn't exist to me. She's a horrible person and irrelevant. But she was like, even though it's legal for gay people to get married here, I'm going to personally deny you the ability to get a marriage license. Anybody in chat want to help me? What is her name? But like, yeah, you're violating my rights. You're imposing your religious beliefs on me. I have a right to freedom from religion. Like, I have the right to exercise my own freedoms outside the realm of your religious beliefs. I don't care what, yeah, Kim Davis, thank you. I don't care what Kim Davis's religious beliefs. If your religious beliefs prevent you from serving people because of who they are, quit your job and ideally exit society. You could stop stealing oxygen from other people too, but I'm not going to press on that point. Like, your religious beliefs are your problem. They do not give you the right to harass people. They do not give you the right to deny us things that we are owed. It is a pretty forgettable name. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, my book says I win by default, so you are violating my religious freedom by defending yourself. That's the thing. Like, I don't care about your religious beliefs. Like, your religious beliefs do not give you the right to harm other people. You don't have the right to impose your religious beliefs on other people. But the right wing in this country is dragging us closer and closer to a theocracy. They're dragging us closer and like repeatedly trying to enforce their beliefs on us. Basically, all of the justifications for limiting the right to abortion are religious arguments and fifi arguments. There is no right. Like, you don't have rights as a person until you're born. Otherwise, you would be paying child support from the time of conception. Yeah, exactly. It's my constitutional right to have the same rights as everyone else, no matter what any of our religions are. You don't have to exercise your right to get an abortion, but we should all have the right. You don't have to exercise your right to get gay married, but we should all have the right. It seems like he's really focusing up on the sports thing, which, like, good fucking luck, because again, there are numerous courts in this country that are determining that trans girls have the right. Like, to force a young girl to play on the boys' team, if you remove the term trans from the situation, what you are trying to do is force little girls to play on the boys' team. And apparently that's okay just because the little girl is trans, just because you feel like she should be with the boys. And like, Chris Kobach continuously uses the term boys describing trans girls and women. When he was asked about this, and like, if he respected trans identity, Kobach says people have a right to change their appearance and presentation, but, quote, the bottom line is that they can't change the structure and other advantages that males gain. Anyone who observes sports and observes the competition by these biological males in female sports has seen the obvious unfairness of it. This is a fallacy. It's like the appeal to common sense fallacy. Like, oh, well, it's just common sense that these people have an advantage over other people. They just don't even feel the need to justify their position. They don't feel the need to produce any actual evidence. Oh, it's Orwellian if someone is canceled or punished for simply saying what they believe. There is such a thing as harassment. If I believe that Chris Kobach... Let's see. Where can we take this that will not get me TOS pretty hardcore? If I believe that Chris Kobach personally owns slaves and that he has slaves cleaning his home, and I tell everybody that, and I say, Chris Kobach is a slave owner, there's a good chance that I could be at least civilly sued for libel or slander, depending on whether it was spoken. Like, sometimes speech is a crime, dumbass. If we could strap a generator to the corpse of George Orwell, his spinning would power the world. Oh, man. What have you sent me? Oh, no, you're not sending this to me. This is not for me. Okay. Yeah, if a trans person wins, oh, it's an unfair advantage. Trans people loses, crickets. Except that even when trans people lose, remember, Leah Thomas, I think she got like first place in one of the races, but in two of the other races, she got like 5th place and like 8th place. Even if we lose, there's still a problem. Yeah, and in this sense, the appeal to common sense most of the time is just an appeal to my personal knee-jerk feelings about something. Sorry, conservatives, facts don't care about your feelings. Trans girls are not overwhelmingly winning when they are participating in these sports, and they shouldn't have to lose in order to justify their participation. You need to prove that there's an unfair advantage. And yeah, the study we went over recently showing that trans women have disadvantages compared to cisgender women on several different measurements. Let's see what else is in here. Commentary from Melissa Styler, who is the advocacy director at Loud Light, a Kansas-based organization focused on LGBTQ+ rights and social issues. She questioned his motives, saying, quote, "During his career, Mr. Kobach's actions and legal theories have yet to show that he has the best interest of women and our legal protections at heart. In fact, Kobach has actively sought to take away constitutional rights from Kansas women. With the experience of facing adversity as a woman, I fully encourage the AG to accept that transgender kids deserve protection from sex-based discrimination, just as I received as a girl going through public school. Protection for trans kids doesn't nullify any gains women and girls have made in our strides toward realizing equity." Yeah, like this is a wave of attorneys general in red states scrambling to challenge the ruling since the publication of these revised guidelines. With legal counsel from the Alliance Defending Freedom, which is obviously an explicitly anti-LGBTQ+ organization, Kobach, just leading the way. I've never been more embarrassed to be from this state. And also, like, I just have to not engage with this at all, because if I were to contact him, I would absolutely cuss him out, or I would leave like a very colorful message for his poor intern to have to receive. Reporters did ask Governor Kelly, she's a Democrat, our governor is a Democrat, about the lawsuit. She says, "I wish that we would focus on issues that really make a difference in Kansans' lives. I would suggest that that makes a difference in very few people's lives and not in a good way." Yeah, like how many trans athletes are in this state? How many trans athletes are even in this state that are in elementary, middle, and high school? Or I guess this is for any school that receives federal funding, so that would also include probably the colleges. Nikki asks, if people have concerns about this, could a solution be to just have a trans-exclusive sport as part of a compromise if people have a problem with advantages that trans people supposedly have? No. Under no circumstances is that an acceptable solution to this problem. And I'm not, my sincerity and my commentary and the spiciness, not directed at you, Nikki. Thank you so much for bringing this up as a suggestion, because sometimes this is what the conservatives propose. First of all, if there are only 3 trans athletes in the whole state, let's just say high school. Let's just stick with high school. If there are only like 3 trans girls in the whole state participating, how are you going to have a trans-only sport? How? And also, it's crazy how it's very obvious in other circumstances that separate but equal is not the answer. But this continues to be proposed as the solution for trans people when it comes to bathrooms, when it comes to sports. Like, no, under no circumstances is this an acceptable answer. Why is it so obvious? Like, you know that the same argument was made about black people, right? And actually, this is something that is continuing into the present day, where black athletes are, you know, removed from the sports participation because of their elevated levels of testosterone and stuff like that. Like, the same argument was made to justify keeping black people separate. Oh, black people would sexually assault white people if they were in the same bathroom. Oh, black people would have an unfair advantage because, you know, we bred them to be more physically capable, and therefore, like, that's a justification for keeping them separate? No. Sex discrimination is illegal. Trans people are protected by sex discrimination law. There is no situation in which separating us this way is okay. Let me see if there's anything else in here. Yeah, Kansas has been trying to pass all kinds of anti-trans laws. Like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be from here. It fills me with loathing. Like, I hate Chris Kobach. Remembering how few trans athletes this actually applies to is key to realizing how much this amounts to states practically putting children's names in their discrimination laws. Yeah. Like, he hates you too? Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm like Idris Elba on his episode of Hot Ones. I'm like, can you fight, Chris? Do you know how to fight? There was one state where the law would only have applied to one kid. Yeah, Utah. They made an anti-trans, like, athletes bill, and it's like there was only one trans girl in the whole state who was trying to participate. And, like, you haven't proven that there's an advantage in the first place. You haven't proven that it's an unfair advantage. Having a law made just for you sounds hellish. Yeah. Can't imagine what it would feel like to have your entire state government target you specifically. And even if you could prove that there was some type of advantage, like, we're still talking about only one kid, and, like, sports is inherently unfair. People have longer arms than other people. Like, people have different height and weight classes. Like, some people don't produce lactic acid like Michael Phelps. And it does not justify removing an entire class of people. The case in the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, where they recently determined that a trans girl must be allowed to play with the rest of the girls, was predicated on, and I don't think this is a good argument, but it was predicated on the idea that this girl had not had any testosterone puberty because she's been on puberty blockers since she hit Turner phase 2. Like, she has not had testosterone puberty. So if you remove all trans athletes, you're removing a lot of people who don't have the advantage that you're claiming that they have. You can't remove an entire class of people on this flimsy justification. It's just blatant discrimination, and it's illegal discrimination under Title IX. Yeah, only people with Da Vinci's ideal proportions can participate. So, yep, another great day to be from Kansas. I'm done talking about this now. I'm really annoyed. Let me put it in my notes, though. All right, Kansas suing federal gov, Title IX. There we go. All right. We can chit-chat a little bit about J.K. Rowling, but I'm kind of ready to wind down. I did not sleep well last night. If that doesn't come through in the spiciness, I'm not sure what does. Later, Milena, good night. We're at 102 likes. I'm so glad that we made it to 100. That's lovely. Lovely. Oh, geez. Yeah, what is even in this Rolling Stone article? Yeah, she seems to really not like being called Joanne. I do think that's very funny. Yeah, I'm not really sure if there's anything in this Rolling Stone article that I don't already know or that we haven't already talked about. I call her Joe. Yeah, she doesn't like being called Joe either. If you do a Joanne segment, make sure to include the tweet she made complaining about being called Joanne. Yeah, I don't know that we're gonna go too far into it. I might check out here before a little bit. Why don't we chill for a few? Oh, Milena just left. She posted so much in the Feed the Dragon area of the stream. I can't do Feed the Dragon without Milena here. I have seen people since J.K. Rowling posted complaining about people calling her Joanne. I did see, what was it? Natalie ContraPoints posted like, "Stop dead naming Robert." Also very interesting that Joanne wants people to respect what she wants to be called. Well, you see, she's a cis supremacist, so she believes that she deserves to be called what she wants to be called, but you don't. First non-binary winner of Eurovision makes it a good week. Yeah. Respect goes both ways. It's like, I know that her name, like, she pronounces her name J.K. Rowling, and I did learn that a couple of years ago. I grew up calling her Rowling because I didn't know the difference, but I refused to update myself because, fuck her. Like, why would I make a point to call her what she wants to be called? Let her tweet more and then do a segment next time. Yeah. It just gets boring after a while. If she does something particularly amusing, then sure. But it's like, I'm not gonna do J.K. Rowling every week just because she can't shut the fuck up about trans people every week. I have no interest in going back to read the Harry Potter books, but I can't unsee how mean they are once it was pointed out to me. Yeah, I haven't read them since I was a child, and I really feel like Sean's video really thoroughly went into, yeah, just how mean it is. I feel like I would go back and watch, at least the first 4 movies, because the first 4 movies were pretty decent, and they take out a lot of that mean-spirited nonsense from it. Yeah, if I did a segment every time Joanne posted something transphobic, I would be streaming every day. If she pulls a Glinner and creeps back into a trans person's OF, then we have a good story. Is there some new Harry Potter project going on at some point? I thought that there was maybe some kind of revival of some kind of Harry Potter content. Later, Tori. Are they making the movies as a TV show? Yeah, I haven't caught up on what it is specifically. Whatever it is, she's gonna make money off of it. So I'm just Oh, the Cursed Child TV series. HBO making a TV series. Ugh. Yeah. It's all pretty cringe. Ooh, I'm finishing my coffee. Delicious. I've been getting endless ads for a mobile game. Who cares about Harry Potter these days? Apparently a lot of really sad adults who don't have much else going on, based on all of the conversation around the Hogwarts Legacy game. Desperately trying to appeal to the millennials. Meanwhile, they're all getting their HP tattoos covered up. Right. If we take the total number of detransitioners across the entire planet versus all of the people who've had a Harry Potter tattoo covered up, I wonder how many more there are. I haven't been posting that many shorts recently. Mama wants me to post a short of whatever it is that I just said. If you don't post that as a short, I will steal the joke and make a TikTok. Do that anyway. I will post it as a short and you can steal it. It's not even my original joke. I'm pretty sure I ripped that from someone on fucking Twitter. So glad I never got any HP ink, yeah. I don't get tattoos associated with any works, brands, or media. So, funnily enough, actually, this tattoo on my arm is from Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality, which is a fanfiction that I think is, even before I knew that J.K. Rowling was transphobic, I already was like, oh, this is way better than the original. And yeah, so I got a nerdy tattoo there, and then I just got my Ouroboros tattoo from Full Metal Alchemist on my leg, which I'm gonna hopefully have like, I'm gonna have it filled out next month, ideally. It's a very sexy tattoo. It makes me feel very powerful. I've thought about getting an Ouroboros for a while. Yeah. I specifically got the FMA Ouroboros. It's not just like any Ouroboros. It's like it's almost like a dragon instead of a snake. I like it a lot. It's healing nicely. It's still got like one spot where it's kind of scabby. It's gonna be the biggest... Honestly, I think that it's bigger than... I have a tattoo up here. I don't know. Spacing-wise, this one's fairly large. So it may not be the biggest tattoo that I have, but it will be the most ink I have in one tattoo, because it's gonna... The whole, the whole snake is filled in red. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Oh my god. Listen, people who get tattoos based on, like, bets, or people who get tattoos for charity, I have a lot of respect for that. I'm never doing that. I think the closest I would get to doing that, as far as, like, doing a permanent thing for charity or based on upvotes, the closest I would get to doing that is, like, shaving my head. And that would have to be for a very important charity cause. Like, I'm so emotionally involved with having long hair and like taking good care of it and making the curls come out nicely, and I'm growing out the back of my hair so that it's all going to be long, and then I'll continue shaving the sides. But like, I'm very invested in having long hair. It's annoying to me that the bottom of my hair is dyed and therefore keeps breaking a bunch. You can barely even see the red in it anymore, but it's still there and it's still causing my hair to break, and it's not getting longer because it keeps breaking. Are you wearing eyeshadow? No, I just haven't slept in days, so I. You know how it's a style now? There's like TikTokers who deliberately give themselves like, dark eyes. It's good to know that my natural inability to sleep is stylish now. It's so stylish. It's in above your eyes. No, I'm not wearing eyeshadow. I know it's hard to tell because my eyes are so hooded. My my eyeshadow, if I were wearing it, it just disappears because my eyes are so hooded. Hangover makeup is a thing in J fashion. Yeah. I used to wear a Hufflepuff scarf since it looks like the NB flag Lamau. I have a badger skin, like a badger fur. Yeah, I'm sorry, vegans. Don't watch me if you don't want to deal with me talking about this. I have a badger fur, and I have a friend at the Renaissance Festival, so I wear my badger when it's like cold. And I have a friend who's really into Harry Potter still, and I'm like, you're an adult. What is wrong with you? But she's a Hufflepuff, self-identified, and she's so into it that she will not hug me if I'm wearing my badger. And I kind of want to just be like, okay, well, don't hug me then. Grow up. I don't want to be like, she's really nice, so I don't want to be mean to her because she's a sweet person, but it's just like, stop being so fucking weird. And it's not because she's a vegan, it's because it's a badger and that's the symbol for Hufflepuff House. Does mask makeup actually make you look mask? Yeah, I mean, it's all about illusion, like using contouring to create a certain shape. A lot of the tricks that women do when they're putting on makeup nowadays, like, I think contouring is like a pretty regular part of makeup now. Even if it's just doing things like a little highlight down the bridge of the nose and like, a little bit of a dark thing right here to make the cheekbones pop. So yeah, I think that contouring is like a pretty normal part of makeup nowadays. So masculinizing makeup is just the same thing. It's contouring and like, darkening right under the brow ridge to give an appearance of like a stronger brow. Maybe even a little bit of shadow directly above the eyebrow here to make it seem like it's, popping out more. Like, there's just different stuff. Yeah, he's a badger. Harry Potter adults. I know. Telling them to stop being weird. Challenge impossible 2024. I do follow someone on Instagram, Charlotte says, who is gender fluid and shows off their mask and femme makeup. It's so cool how far that can go. Right. I saw a cosplayer who made herself look like Johnny Depp for a Pirates of the Caribbean cosplay. Cosplayers who do cross-sex cosplay, sometimes like I'll see females doing really convincing masculine makeup. HP adults versus Disney adults. They're both cringe. But they're cringe in different ways. They've got different strengths and weaknesses. I may very well get back into Harry Potter when Rowling croaks. Probably be a while if Henry Kissinger is anything to go by when judging the lifespan of ghouls. Yeah. I get it. People try to do the whole separate the art from the artist thing. It's like, yeah, I don't know. If you go back and read it, it's so mean. So mean. Very unkind series. And it's not like it was revolutionary. It's not like it was genre defining or anything. I can separate H.P. Lovecraft from his art because he's dead. That's different too. Yeah, if the artist is still alive and still making content in the universe and, you know, giving her interpretation of what's going on in the universe, I feel like it's way easier to do Death of the Author if the author is quiet or obscure or dead. Well, y'all, I'm a sleepy boy, and I need to go pee. So I'm probably going to go ahead and get off of here for tonight. We did some segments. We memed. We joked around a little bit. We had some spiciness. JKR does need to be quiet and start apologizing, truly. Yeah, the sleepy dragon. So I'm going to go do my thing. I hope that y'all have a good rest of your evening. And I am planning to see you all on Sunday. So, in the meantime, be good. Or at least don't get in trouble. Alright, join the Discord. Do it. Alright.